Celtics and Mavericks will get together tonight in Dallas for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The Celtics lead 2-0. We'll begin our coverage at 7:30 with the pregame show here on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell will have the tip at just after 8:30. The big story heading into tonight is the health of Kristaps Porzingis. He has officially been listed as questionable with a dislocated posterior tibialis tendon down the back of his left leg. Porzingis did walk without a limp heading to his media availability yesterday. As for the Patriots, yesterday was a community service day for the team. They'll wrap up mandatory minicamp today in Foxborough, and then tonight in front of a sold-out crowd at Gillette Stadium, Tom Brady will be inducted into the team's Hall of Fame. The New York Jets began their mandatory minicamp yesterday. Aaron Rodgers not there. This has been termed an unexcused absence. At Fenway Park, Kyle Schwarber hit a pair of long solo homers. The Red Sox began a very tough week with a 4-1 loss to Philadelphia. This 3-game series continues tonight. And in golf, the U.S. Open begins tomorrow morning at Pinehurst number 2. 2022 champion Jon Rahm withdrew yesterday thanks to an infected foot. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by WellPoint, formerly Unicare. They've teamed with Charlie Coyle, Mass State and local police, the professional firefighters of Mass, and Bruins Radio for face-offs for first responders. If you or a loved one are thinking about suicide, get free and confidential help 24/7 on the Lifeline Network. Just text or call 988 now. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Scoring the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Afraid, hello. 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 Mm-hmm. Hello. 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 Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Let's talk about cheese.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
What the
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet.
Chop off my balls and go.
I'm trying to do something, and it's giving me the business. I'm trying to do something on my phone, and it's giving me the business.
Is it that Candy Crush? It is so addictive.
I never played Candy Crush. You know what I play?
Angry Birds?
Nope, I don't like Angry Birds.
Wordle?
I play, it's a game by Supercell. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's cool, called Clash of Clans.
No, you don't.
It is the Ku Klux Klan against the Wu-Tang Clan. And it's Clash of Clans, and everything takes a week to build. It's like farm. It's the same thing as that farm game that everyone played.
You're not doing that.
Oh, I absolutely am.
No, you're not.
I pay $5 a month to do that. Thank you very much. You bet your ass I do that. You bet your ass I do that. So yeah, that's what I do. That's how I spend my time.
Forgive my ignorance. Is this a game that you can win, or is the point of the game to just keep playing?
The point of the game is you compete against others.
Yeah.
You build up. It's rewarding. It's very rewarding.
Can you win?
No.
Okay.
There's no winning. There's just getting a little better every day.
It's a great metaphor for life.
It's something to give your kids when you die. is your whole thing.
That's right.
Yeah, you just go, here is my... it's something for the show I'm trying to get on my phone, and it's pissing me off. By the way, we are the Toucher and Hardy Show, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us every morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And subscribe. And then you can watch us live, which I've been told is a treat. And there's a whole community of people in there yelling and screaming at each other. It's something else.
Yeah.
Especially the people, I guess, that are in there at 6 are very angry. I hope they're not getting... My advice to the people at 6 that are very angry is that if that's the middle of your day, that's probably fine. But if it's the first or last thing you're doing, like if you're third shift and you're going to bed, it's not a great thing to do. And also, if you're just getting up, I would imagine if you talk to anybody, any brain expert, getting on there and yelling the first thing you do when you get up is not good for you.
Okay, so just to push back on this a little bit, first comment of the live chat on the YouTube feed of the show today is from Steven, who says, "Good morning, America. Happy hump day." See, Wednesday is the middle of the week, John, and that's like the hump that you have to get over.
Right.
But it also implies coitus. So if you take hump day to mean you're going to do some humping later on, even better.
I like
So,
that.
today is the big Tom Brady festivities going on at Gillette Stadium. Did you hear? I heard Joe Murray last night when I was in the car talking about how Sarge was emceeing and he was going to be the master of ceremonies. And somehow I don't think that's true. I don't think Sarge is going to be the point person in between dignitaries and guests. I'm going to guess that they got someone else. Wait, say it on the air. Okay, so who is it?
I've been told through a press release that his name is Mike Tirico.
Oh, so you're
From
telling me that
NBC.
I was right. Oh, wow. That is shocking. You don't think that they got Sarge to just be the guy that sits there and does that? I think Sarge is going to be the voice of God in the stadium.
Exactly. Yeah. Had I heard that, I would say, I have no reason to not believe that Sarge will be doing his normal PA stuff, and he does a nice job with it. He really does. He's got the voice for it.
As opposed to all the people that do a terrible job of it that you often hear.
Well, you don't know those other people. And, if you spend any time with Sarge, you wonder how he would be at that job. And I think it's fair to question him or a lot of people that I know. I myself would not be good at that job.
Sure you would. You'd be fine at that job.
But whatever.
Sure. Okay, everybody. It's Tom Brady.
Not a great shot when you're struggling. This right.
Yeah. That sounds nothing like this Doris voice. This is the Sarge voice. Pay attention.
Yeah, it sounds nothing like it. It's a charge for the Sarge.
But yeah, he'll be like, "Ladies and gentlemen, to begin our night, please welcome Mike Tirico." Yeah,
that's
Sarge will be that guy.
But that means Sarge is done for the night.
Yeah.
I don't know
He
that.
introduces Tirico, and then he's done.
Or he'll be like everyone to your seats.
That's right.
He's not going to be sitting next to Brady, but Sarge will probably be 2 seats down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you please get to your seats. The ceremony is about to begin. That's one. And then you
Let's
have...
put it this way. There could be a restraining order against Sarge from Tom Brady, and Sarge could still be where he's doing his announcements from.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are those things? Generally 300 yards?
Yeah, he's whatever they are, he's well within his rights to be where he's at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mike Tirico is going to be the person there. But my son yesterday, him and his friends were in Newton at a Starbucks, and who is there but Willie McGinnis?
Oh.
Willie McGinnis with a driver in a group of guys he was with, but apparently with a driver, a chauffeured car, Willie McGinnis in town. So I wonder if the Patriots provided chauffeur. First of all, and I'm like, he must be in town for. I talked to my son. I go, he must be in town for the big Tom Brady thing. He's like, yep. And I'm like, I wonder why he was in Newton. He goes, you just said it's the Tom Brady thing. And I'm like, no, but I wonder why he's in Newton. He's like, I don't know if you can hear yourself. He was here for the Tom Brady thing.
Yeah, stupid.
Like, I don't know why he would be in Newton, though. Because he doesn't live in Newton. I don't know. And then he goes, why was he doing this? Well, it's a Starbucks. Well, I think there's Starbucks everywhere. Not positive why he was here. But very good. That's very exciting to hear.
Yeah.
He now is at his mother's house having problems with the birds as well.
Oh
no.
So it's not just a you thing.
No, now it has moved into his. So if anyone thought this was a psychological condition that he was looking for, because he spent the night in my, because he's out of school now for the summer. He spent the night at my house last night because dang birds, they've gone to mom's house too. Chirp, chirp, chirp. They follow me everywhere. He goes, I couldn't sleep till 4 in the morning because of them birds.
And then they start up again. That's right when they start up again.
No, he said that he goes, their clock's all off. They've been chirping all night.
I do love. He was in Newton for the Tom Brady thing. Oh, I wonder what he's doing in Newton though. Oh boy, I wish I could hear how dumb you sound right now.
I would, yeah, just stupid. He's got this like swagger to him now because like girls like him. So he's like it just happened all of a sudden. He's got this like little swagger to him. He's like, oh boy, this guy's got pea brain.
I just told you.
I just told you. He's here for you said it yourself. He's here for the Tom Brady thing. Well, why was he in Newton? He was at Starbucks.
Oh, you blockhead.
Yeah, jerk off. He was there. I mean, well, and then I go, why am I wasting my time? But I go, Milo, there's Starbucks everywhere. Like they're all over the place. And he's like, huh? Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, the one in Newton's the best one.
And it's not like he's the one in Newton. Yeah, the one in Newton. I've never bought anything at a Starbucks for myself. But the one in Newton. I'll tell you what Starbucks goes to is the TikTok people. If you go into a Starbucks now, it's all teenage kids. And it's all teenage kids getting a drink that they don't like. Whatever that pink thing is.
Oh, the pink drink.
Yep. And that's all from TikTok.
Yeah.
I've poured out, with my daughter as her friends over, I've poured out 5 of them, full ones.
It's amazing. My daughter will leave the house, like get up, not on the way home from somewhere or on the way to somewhere. She will be at home. She will leave the house to go get her pink drink and then bring it back. And she will have like a sip of it on the way home and 2 more sips when she gets home. And then where does it go? Right in the fridge. And I'm going to have that later. No, you're not. And you just probably spent an hour's worth of whatever job she works a lot. She's making her own money. But I tell her, like, you're throwing it away. All this money, and I don't know what you save it for. And I did the same thing. I just spent money, but honestly, the fact that you are leaving the house to go get this makes it even more maddening to me. Like, do you know how much those things cost? Like, that's gonna, just think of it this way. An hour at that job on Sunday that you don't necessarily want to go to because you're tired and you'd rather be doing something else. Is it worth it? When you're sitting there, set your watch for an hour. Because every time you go buy one of those things, that's what that is. Yeah.
And it's just, that's got to be the dream, though, is that if you get, and it's like a 1 in a million shot, but if you get the right influencer, again, how many influencers, people that want to be influencers, 10 million? So you probably got a 1 in a million shot. Most likely, you're more likely just to make a good product and sell it. But if you get that, like, lightning bolt, the right person consuming the right thing, you can get people to buy something they don't like over and over and over again. That is really something. It's like this show. People just listen to it over and over and over again.
Yep.
Even though they don't like it. All right.
That's how I ended up getting new windows. John Wallach. And we had just moved into a brand new house. I'm like, tear them all out. We need new windows. I heard Wallach talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Just and then he flew into them.
But the windows are so good, didn't damage them at all.
Yeah,
great.
but I mean, you were like a kamikaze pilot.
Oh.
At that point, you didn't give a crap what happened to you. You were getting 30 virgins, 30 virgin chicks.
All birds think about this?
Yeah.
The 30 virgins?
Yeah, absolutely. Every time a bird flies into a window, they know that if they die, they've been promised 30 virgins.
I see.
There's been a bird getting into our garage. I say a bird. Maybe more than one bird.
Well, you bring him out there. He'll talk to you.
I wanted to take a video of it and post it and say, Wallach, come get your boy. But I thought better of it because I don't want people commenting on the stuff I have hanging on my garage wall.
Smart move.
Would you got a bunch of tools? He has. Oh, very quickly, Hardy. Drives a pickup truck, as you know,
because I need it.
Right?
Of course you do.
And he not only has a pickup truck, the bed of the pickup truck is covered, and he is fashioned cubby holes inside of it for so he stores things in the bed of the truck in these cubby holes.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a slot for everything. He was being made fun of by people at the station for his pickup truck after the golf event on Monday.
But it's all golf stuff: golf shoes, golf gloves, golf balls. There's a place to lay the golf clubs. I didn't spend the $400 though on the divider that slides back and forth on the rails inside the truck. You know what I spent? $6 on a curtain rod from Target. Actually, 2 of them, and you extend those, about 2 feet into the truck bed and put those up, and that keeps the clubs and everything else from like sliding back as you brake and it slides into the bed of the truck. I'm like, no. I don't want a $300 divider back there because occasionally I do use the truck for truck things. Like I'll have them dump like a couple yards of mulch back there. And it's like, why do I want to?
How often does that happen?
Once a year. But I don't want I don't want like some nice accessory back there that's going to get like all dirty and broken, because let me tell you something. When they bring that front loader over to the back of your truck and dump that thing in there, they're careful-ish, but they're
Right.
They're not concerned with damaging your bed divider.
They just want to dump the mulch and get on to the next guy.
Yeah, it's
or girl.
Like
yes.
you're just a customer. They don't want to make it part of their day. No, this is just boom, take that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but you told me clubs ride in the cab.
For the most part. Now I don't carry clubs around with me, and before I start getting a lot of hate calls, I don't leave clubs in the car. That's a big no-no, especially in the summer months. But any time of temperature fluctuation, very bad for the clubs, Fred. For the most part, if I am taking clubs with me somewhere, they will go either on the back seat or on the floor of the back seat. That's where yours are right now. I still have to give you your clubs back.
Yeah, I know. I'm really chomping at the bit to go those back. All right, very good. What's coming up in what happened last night, Hardy, if I may be so bold as to ask?
I don't know. Nothing. Red Sox lost. Whoops, I spoiled it. Now, there's a few other things. We do have a big injury to talk about.
Oh, yeah. An injury that no one seems to know what the deal is with it. It's news kind of to everyone. Yeah. All right, so we'll have that all for you coming right up.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Dutcher and Hardy. Hardy, what's going down in the streets? You tell me.
This was the news yesterday as the team says Kristaps Porzingis suffered. I don't know if you've heard this phrase once or 1,000 times in the last 16 hours. A rare injury. This is very rare, Fred. Kristaps Porzingis suffering a rare injury to his left leg, not the right calf that he had been dealing with. This is on the other side, and thank goodness for John Wallach, who has the pronunciation down of this injury. It is a torn what, John?
A torn medial retinaculum in his left foot.
Retinaculum, Fred.
Which has allowed the dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon.
Which is where?
It runs from the back of the calf down into the foot behind that knobby bone, which is your ankle.
Okay, is it a calf injury or a foot injury?
I think it's a foot injury based on what I've read.
Okay, because I read it was a calf injury, but I don't know.
They're all connected. I want you to know that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're just atoms in a greater good, but I don't know if I've read calf, you've read foot. It's very interesting.
Apparently, this tendon goes from the bottom of the calf and holds up like the arch of the foot from inside.
All right, and he's walking without a limp. He says he wants to play. The team says it's out of his hands, that they're going to tell him what to do. Missoula went so far as to say that, players are going to push themselves too far, so they need to be restrained. And that's where we are. So Porzingis probably is not going to play, it looks like. Which, if you're Dallas, has to give you a little bit of sense of found momentum. You're going home. There's no Porzingis. I heard the guy, LeBron's caddy, on ESPN talking about how Porzingis in the first two games of the finals was the greatest bench player in finals history.
Okay.
And he very well may be correct.
All right.
But he said the way Porzingis came out, especially in the first quarter, is the best bench player in finals history.
That first half of game one certainly puts him up there.
And then with the blocks and the transition blocks and the rim protection and all these things.
Yeah, that 15-minute span was pretty damn good.
Yes, exactly. So say that's the case. They still win game one without Porzingis. I mean, they won by a lot. It just... If you're Dallas coming home, the idea that perhaps you could get Kyrie Irving back, Kyrie Irving may play well.
Well, he's out of Boston. I guarantee a better performance tonight than what you saw in games 1 and 2.
Or maybe they'll let him, I don't know, handle the ball. Maybe they'll let him take the ball up the court. What if you have Kyrie Irving who can fly against a great defensive team? Why on a defensive rebound wouldn't you just give it to Kyrie and go?
The other part of it is Luka Doncic expends so much energy. They're playing him close, they're bumping him, even though he's a bigger guy. He's expending so much energy to get his shot, to back people down, to avoid double teams. Why not play him off the ball tonight? Let Kyrie take all the pressure and just have Luka focus on catching and shooting, or not having to trigger the offense. I mean, he played 40 minutes. He's played 40 minutes a night. Those are hard 40 minutes. Why not take some of the pressure off him and let Kyrie handle the basketball? I think that's a very good idea.
You know why the reason they have to have him handle the ball is because he can't play transition basketball. He's out of shape. He's too slow. Like, he can't keep up. But to that, I would say fine.
That's the Dallas offense anyway.
What I would do is that I'd say, fine, you can't keep up, great. But if we get a defensive rebound and Kyrie's on the court, it's going to Kyrie. He's darting down. If he can break the defense, he's doing it. And if not, then he can bring the ball. Then he can slow it down wait for you to come back and give you the ball.
That's right.
I swear to God, John, it sounds simple.
No.
And there might be basketball coaches shaking their heads no. But I've thought about it, and that's every defensive rebound with Doncic and Kyrie on the court. I'm looking for Kyrie on an outlet and having him go down, just full sprint down.
If you take a look at, and I've done this because I've done these games, Dallas is last or close to the bottom in pace, possessions per game they get. And that's simply a function of Luka dribbling the basketball around for 19 or 20 seconds every time they have the ball. With Kyrie there, they're kind of boosted up to the middle of the pack. They can play that game. They can do that if Kyrie gets the ball more. I would expect him to get the ball more tonight. I mean, Luka's dealing with at least one injury, probably 2 or 3. Why not take him out of harm's way? Why not have him avoid the bumping and banging that he's going through? Because obviously the Celtics are focusing on him.
Okay, and Porzingis is out of the game, and so Horford's got to play more minutes. So and then make Horford run. I would make. If Boston's such a great defensive team, which they are, if they're this great defensive team, this great one-on-one defensive team, then get them in transition. Then wear them out. Then start running. And if Doncic can't keep up again, I understand you want Doncic to get 30 points. I understand that. That can still happen. But I'm talking, look, made basket, fine. Inbound it to Doncic, do whatever you want. But if there's a missed basket, why not have Kyrie try to break the defense?
It's not a bad idea. Ultimately, Porzingis, and I agree again, it's boring, but I agree again, I don't think Porzingis is going to play tonight. You have these online doctors saying he may miss the rest of the series as a result of this. This opens the door a crack for Dallas to kind of try and make a series out of this. Ultimately, even without Porzingis, the Celtics are still the better team. They still should win this series. Quite easily.
Oh, yeah.
But this gives Dallas an opportunity to make things close and uncomfortable for each of the remaining games of this series, or however many Porzingis misses.
It makes tonight at least interesting. Because, again, momentum, if it can, in an 0-2 series, Dallas has got to be thinking, all right, we're home. Kyrie should technically play better. They're missing a guy who's absolutely been electric off the bench. Just going in, that's got to make you feel more positive. Now, if they lose tonight, who cares? I mean, if Dallas loses tonight, then
right.
I guess you're watching it just so you can celebrate. But if Dallas, this gives Dallas a chance to win, because again, the whole thing in this series that we talked about is Dallas needs these games close, tied, with 4 minutes left, because that's conceivably when they have an advantage, because they have Doncic and Kyrie. So they haven't done that. They've been coming back in these fourth quarters. They need to have it tied, a few possessions apiece left, and they have, you would think, the better scorers. Go ahead.
Without Porzingis on the floor, that gives Dallas a chance to score easier baskets. We were talking earlier in the series about the lob game and how the Celtics have shut that down. Porzingis is a big part of that. But this shows you how deep this team is. Porzingis wasn't the leading shot blocker during the regular season on this team.
He didn't play.
Yeah, well, Derek White was the leading shot blocker on this team.
Derek White is a great guard.
You saw Jaylen Brown block a few shots at the rim. I mean, they have the ability, without Porzingis out there, to still kind of limit what Dallas does.
But Porzingis per game had to have by far the most blocks
in the playoffs. Yes, yeah. In the playoffs, absolutely.
I don't think it's enough for Dallas tonight to be in a close game and then to win a close game late to give them real hope.
I don't think they have hope, but that's what they need to win a game.
Well, but
they can't be coming back in the fourth quarter. They need a tight game at home. Look, if they blow, they could say they blow. You know what I'm saying? They need it to be tight. And then that's the only time that they could conceivably have an advantage, because they have the two best scorers. If Kyrie isn't in a mental funk, the two best scorers on the court at that point, both have proven to be clutch. Luka won a playoff game this year last second. Kyrie's won a championship last second. That's when you would think that they would have an advantage at home.
And if you want to talk yourself into, being worried or having some doubt as to whether or not the Celtics will be able to close this out, that's the scenario that needs to take place tonight. Dallas needs to completely exploit the situation with Kristaps being out, go out, take an early lead, and just run it all the way practically wire to wire. If all they do is win a close game late, That's not enough. I think you play that out for 3 more games, and the Celtics can win 2 of them, and that's it. There's your series.
You also have the margin for error here is so narrow for Dallas. Dallas has to walk a specific path just to get 1 win. They have to have Doncic play well. They have to have Kyrie play well. They need to take advantage of the fact that Porzingis isn't there. If the Celtics don't have a good shooting night from Jason Tatum, they can still win one of these games. We just saw it in Game 2.
Yeah.
If Jaylen Brown doesn't play well tonight, then you have Jason Tatum playing well, Derek White playing well. Oh, yeah, and that guy Drew Holiday, who is currently my leading candidate to become the MVP of this series.
Oh.
So there you have it. There you have it. That's a hot take, right?
So, do you have a Tumblr account? Where can we find this information?
Yep, I'm going to bet it all on Holiday to win the whole thing.
Sharp money.
They're deeper, they're better, and Dallas has, like, these 5 things have to go right for them to win.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, the Celtics are winning this series, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if Dallas wins tonight.
What about Drew Holiday's odds were for MVP before the series started? He had to have been, what, plus 10,000?
I don't know. That's a lot, but not 10,000 because he's won championships. I have to think that there would be some money on Holiday.
Well, Kyrie,
just as a desperate shot there.
Yeah, your 2 top guys were Doncic and Tatum, and then it went.
I think it was Doncic and Tatum. Go ahead.
And then it went. Kyrie was plus. I think Kyrie was plus 1,800.
Yeah, well, that's gone.
Jaylen Brown was plus 600. I bet it was a lot. Derek White was plus 3,500.
Yeah.
Holiday had to be more than White, though, right? It had to be.
That's why I'm
not as long a shot as Derek White.
Oh, I think he would have been longer.
Why?
Because he's a champion. Because he's been in these.
White
Johnny,
would have been
I like
a longer
this.
shot. I know. This almost never.
I mean, you are really agreeing with me. This is fun for me.
It's
Well, it's basketball too. It's not boring. You're the basketball expert
You're
in
wearing
the room.
the satin jacket this morning, sir.
I mean, I feel like I'm.
Look at you.
I feel like I finally belong. Matt, go ahead.
Hey guys, long time caller. I really think Tatum needs to show up tonight. This is his moment, and if he doesn't, he loses credibility as a star for the Celtics. Thanks. Punching out.
Yeah, I mean, if Tatum doesn't play well tonight and they lose, it's going to be a 3-day conversation, and then if they win 2 games, then if they win a championship, it doesn't. None of this matters. But yes, if they lose tonight and Tatum plays the way he's played in this series, then there will be a conversation until Game 4.
After Game 1, the NBA Finals MVP odds: Tatum plus 125, Jaylen Brown plus 175. Luka Doncic plus 600, Drew Holiday plus 750.
Yeah, but that's after Holiday had that great Game 1.
That's right. Kristaps Porzingis was plus 4,000. Derek White was plus 5,000. And why do they have Drew Holiday listed twice? And then have Drew Holiday at plus 12,000? That can't be right.
No, that can't be right.
Because Kyrie Irving was at 10,000.
I think that might be artificial intelligence gone wrong.
That is Sports Illustrated.
Again, that might be.
Drew Holiday made an insane leap. He went from plus 12,000 to plus 750. Drew Holiday was plus 12,000.
Huh.
If I would have known that, I would have put $10 on that. Why not?
Told you.
But what was Derek White?
He was like 3,500. I was having an argument with my buddy about it, who wanted to put money on Derek White for MVP. I'm like, just you're throwing your money away. Don't do that.
Derek White, you know what he would have to do to win the MVP? Derek White. At least Holiday's got it's voted on by the press, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Derek White's going to take a lot. Derek White's going to take an awful lot. I think
and
more than Holiday.
He might deserve it, but you said it's a vote, and it's going to go either Tatum or Doncic or Brown or Irving, and you have to make an insanely strong case to not be one of those 4 guys on those 2 teams to win MVP.
And then so the media conversation has been, look at Holiday, he's won these championships. Look at how Milwaukee sucks and the Celtics rule. Holiday was such a Holiday's been a conversation point all season long for a national media. Derek White obviously is very, very good and underrated, but He's not. Isn't Holiday on the Olympic team or something?
Yes.
Yeah, Holiday's on the Olympic team.
Yes.
I wish I would have known that.
The Olympic team.
Why did no bankroll boy tell me this? I would have put money on Holiday. Go ahead.
Big roll boys.
The big roll boys. Yes.
More specifically, I just want to go back to what the caller said about Tatum. I mean, this is a legacy series for him. I mean, if you are going to be considered one of the all-time Celtic greats, you have to shine right now, and he hasn't yet. So now the question as to whether he cares about that is something else. But in the fans' eyes, if Tatum has another couple of games like the game he had in Game 2, even though the numbers were there, he almost had a triple-double. You won't be able to rank Tatum in the fans' eyes up with Bird and Pierce and those guys. He'll be always one step back.
I would hope that he really doesn't care about that right now.
He doesn't seem to. He said he went out of his way to say he didn't care after Game 2.
It would be Jaylen Brown talked to someone yesterday and was going crazy about how he didn't care about anything, didn't give an F about anything, and it makes me think you give an F about a lot. He's like, I'm talking about the discourse around the team. Like, I don't care about it.
Well, you know what Jaylen Brown says? It's just next man up.
We've been priding ourselves on next man up mentality, prepare for these moments to be able to play with and without anyone. So it'll just require somebody else on our team to step up and everybody to buy in to get a full team victory.
Yeah,
There's no way he talks like that in real life.
It
drives me insane.
Cornette, you're up. Go.
That's right.
It drives me insane the way he talks. There's no way. That is such an affectation. There's no way he talks like that in real life. It bugs me. Do you understand?
I understand. All right, let's hear.
It bugs me so. An affectation.
Let's hear from both Porzingis and Mazzulla what they have to say about the injury.
The Maz man, your dinner buddy?
Yeah.
All right, we'll figure that all out. Here are the headlines.
Okay. Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics will visit Dallas tonight for Game 3 of the NBA Finals, leading the best of 7, 2-0. We'll have the pregame at 7:30, and then the tip-off with Grandy and Max at 8:30 here on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Kristaps Porzingis has a dislocation of a tendon in his lower left leg. He has been listed as questionable. Patriots will wrap up mandatory minicamp today in Foxborough with the morning practice. And then there's the big event tonight at Gillette Stadium. Tom Brady will be officially inducted into the team's Hall of Fame. The Jets started mandatory minicamp yesterday without Aaron Rodgers. And the Red Sox lost to the Philadelphia Phillies at Fenway Park last night, 4-1. Kyle Schwarber, 2 home runs against his former team for the winners. This 3-game series continues tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dave & Buster's. There's no better place to watch Game 3 tonight than on their 43-foot TV and enjoy a brand new menu. Braintree, Natick, Woburn, Providence, Manchester, New Hampshire. Reserve at daveandbusters.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today.
Hey, it's Charlie Coyle. I've teamed with WellPoint, formerly Unicare, and 98.5 The Sports Hub for face-offs for first responders to let all first responders know it's okay to talk to someone when the job gets to be too much. We also want to let anyone listening to this message know that if you or a loved one
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. All right, what's going on, Hardy? You say that the people have talked, that we have some Porzingis. If you don't know, Porzingis has a weird injury, so he's got that going for himself. And who talked about it? You tell me. You say.
Well, let's hear from Joe Mazzulla first before we hear from the man himself about what their decision-making process will be like.
We've taken a decision to play out of his hands because the importance of him. And so he's going to do everything he can to play, and then we're going to leave it up to our medical team. And that's really it.
All right, so we keep hearing, number one, that's smart. If Porzingis is going to push himself, I have no idea what he's like. He sounds like he's the type of guy that's going to, want to play. You can't allow him to do that. But the rarity of the injury, this is the big buzz word, the big buzz phrase. It's a very rare injury. It's a rare injury. Okay, it's rare, but is it a big deal?
He's doing anything and everything he can to be ready for the game tomorrow. It's a serious injury, and at the end of the day, our team and the medical team is not going to put him in any bad situations.
Okay, serious injury tells me, and Fred, you already said this, and I tend to agree with you, he's not going to play. If it is a serious injury, it could really affect him long term, and not only next year, but just for the rest of this series. If he tried to play on it tonight, if it is that serious, he's not going to play.
No, he's not built for this world. I will tell you that he is not. It's got to be torturous for him because you have a body and a skill set that's just it's a hindrance and a liability in everything else you're going to do in your life except for basketball. Yet it betrays you around every corner.
It must be incredibly maddening to be so good at something like this and to constantly have your body rob you of the ability to do something you're good at.
Because without the invention of basketball, his sizes have absolutely no use to him. It's a complete hindrance. Everyone's gawking at you. I was thinking about this. If you're 7'4", it's almost like I'm glad basketball exists because you deserve some money. Like you should get something for being 7'4" because everything else sucks so bad. Like if you weigh like 700 pounds, and it's not your fault, like you got a glandular condition or something, you should get money. Like they should give you money because you're like tortured.
Who's gonna get you? Want to give him your money?
Yeah, I'll give him a couple bucks. If we all did. If everyone chipped in, if everyone gave $1, it's like the people at the bagel place when they turn the screen to you and they say tip 15%. And then if they yelled at you for tipping 15%, well, you get 100 customers a day. They all tip you $2.
I didn't have
$200 in pocket.
I didn't have you figured for such a commie chubby chaser, but you are really pushing all your chips in the middle of the table.
I love fat Stalin lovers. That's the name of my burner account at Fat Stalin Lovers. Just give me a fat dude with a mustache and a grudge.
Chris Stapps, are you going to play? What's going on?
It's kind of a random situation, yeah. And I felt something, and now I have to deal with it. So, as we said, yeah, it's going to be day to day. See how I am tomorrow, and obviously I'm going to do everything I can to be out there tomorrow.
The severity of it, and the serious injury, as Joe Mazzulla called it. If you can pinpoint, and a few people have tried. Maz posted a video last night of it looked like something happening on that left foot.
Why did you do that?
Why did he?
People need me to get in.
I don't know. Why do any of us do any of this?
I don't know. It's just weird.
He found a video of he was in the free throw lane, and when he stepped, he kind of he was awkward on his left foot after he stepped into the lane, which would add to A, the rarity of this type of injury, and B, if it happened at that point, he did continue playing. Does that make you back off the severity of it? I mean, if it's something truly severe.
No, because there's different things. There's a pain threshold situation, and then it can screw you up.
Apparently,
for the rest of your life.
This tendon, because it attaches to the bottom of your foot, influences your ability to jump and explode upward. And so eventually, according to what I read last night, he's going to need surgery on this thing. And preferably, I would think in the off season, this coming off season. I don't know what recovery time is. I don't know anything about that. But It's serious enough that you're going to have to get it surgically repaired. That tendon can't flop around loose.
Because
You can't jump off the other foot.
Sure you can. Why not? And, because there's a lot of knee injuries, it's more scary than painful. Like, they just hear a pop or feel a pop, and then you're like, oh, Jesus. Like, because there's some energy, again, it's just pain management. Like, I guess playing with broken ribs in the Stanley Cup Finals is pain management. They feel like it won't do anything. It's just going to break them more, and then at the end of the day, they're just going to have to heal. Like, my son's got a broken toe, and he's going back and it's not really bothering him, and he's going back to get x-rays, and I believe it's a pain management issue at that point. Like, because it can't cause further damage, they said, because it's like a small fracture. I don't know. So, I mean, whatever happened to my son is the same what happened to Porzingis. It's the same deal.
Yes.
Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, I'm sitting here listening to every single commentator, including you guys, say Tatum needs to score 30 points, needs to be elite. Tatum doesn't take. This is the best I've ever seen him. Why? Because Tatum's not complaining when he's playing. Every other game I watch, he's always complaining. He's always, this and that. He's facilitating. He's putting up points when he can. He's going into paint when he can. So he doesn't need to be all you could be when he's got such an elite cast of people with him. So everyone should stop saying he needs to be great. Tatum is playing the way I actually like him to play. Humble and not whining.
Oh.
And please, if anyone else talks about Horford's age, I'm going to lose my mind.
Okay, so
Tell
let me
him to shut up
Kevin,
about his age.
let me ask you something. Jason Tatum, game 2, 1 for 7 from 3-point range. That's the best you've ever seen him play?
I like the assist. What did he do when he was down? They double-teamed him, which allowed him to distribute it to other players. It's about scoring. Why can't you guys understand that? He can also facilitate. If they're going to double-team him and he could dish it off.
Okay, why can't you admit that he could play better than what he's played? I'm not saying he's bad. I've actually been okay with his game too, but I think it's disingenuous to say that this is the best you've ever seen him. That's not. You're not being honest.
When Tatum tries too hard, he always messes it up. He tries too hard, he messes it up. This is what you want from him until he can get that all points that you guys
6 for 22 from the field. He took 22 shots and 6 of them went in. That's what you want?
My question is, did the Celtics win?
No, that would answer my question.
No. Answer the question, dude. answer the question.
Well, we don't know the answer. What's the answer? You tell us.
If the Celtics win, will I be happy with the way he played? Yeah, I'll be happy with everybody. But why
are y'all hawking on it? Let the dude
because
do what
he can be
doing.
better, and you know he can be better.
Why are you hawking on it? Dumbass.
The problem is when he tries to do extra what you guys want, that's when I get pissed and annoyed with him because
he should stop trying.
Look, if they win a championship, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not honking right, man. You should honk on a Bobo. You should honk on something.
If they win a championship,
perfect.
Listen, if they win a championship, he's all NBA player. What more does anyone want? No one wants anything more. I don't know what these we were talking about with Porzingis out and the momentum in Dallas. I believe if I can go back and think of our keen analysis, we were saying that Tatum needs to play better because now with the absence of Porzingis and the idea that Kyrie Irving will be playing better because he's not in Boston, that you would think your best player would have to shoot 40% from the field.
I think you're going to need more scoring from Tatum tonight. I don't think I'm reinventing the wheel by saying that. Without Porzingis out there, you're going to need a better offensive effort from your best player.
And there was no bold take. And I think I believe I said that that there would be 3 days of conversation if they lose and Tatum doesn't play well about Tatum, and then it would go away when they win a championship. It would go away if they win Game 4, and then they're up 3-1 coming back to the Garden. I don't think any of that is too crazy. I just said that there will be 3 days of hand-wringing about Tatum, and then they probably win Game 4, and they probably will come back and win in Game 5.
Yeah,
if they lose the series and Tatum doesn't play well, that's when Tatum's got problems. If they win the series, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Team game, win a championship, who cares at that point? And then, in the future, you can sit around and debate, Tatum's place in the pantheon of great Celtics, and that's something you have to quantify on your own. It's not for us to quantify for you. All right, we'll be right back.
the Sports Hub app.
Hey, everybody. We're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with Fan. YouTube every morning. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. I will tell you that tonight we will have dueling street audio. Young Nicholas Gemelli is going to be at the Garden for the watch party, and our friend Adolfo Gonzalez is going to be in Dallas at the game. So we will get a Dallas perspective with the return of Adolfo Gonzalez, who I've been talking to more and more as time goes on. So that should be very exciting. We'll have Adolfo on the show tomorrow. He's got a job, so I'm juggling. I'm leaving it kind of up to him when he wants to come on. David, go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to maybe get into talking about shopping Kristaps Porzingis after the season's over. I know we haven't won yet and nothing like that, but the dude's always hurt. You know, we need him. We don't need him in the regular season. We got the depth. We could maybe trade him to somebody for, you know, the same talent, less money, because we're going to have to pay Derek White, and it would be a shame to see him walk over keeping Porzingis.
Yeah, you're just not going to get any return on investment for him, because can you think, John, because you call the games, of a place where Porzingis would be more of a factor than Boston?
I don't think they'll ever. Brad Stevens won't trade him. I understand the injury risk, but that risk was there before you got him. He's in the first year of a 2-year contract. He's going to get paid $31 million next year. I don't think there's a team that's going to take that salary on, even though it's an expiring deal. That's a lot of money for a guy who is hurt a lot. Specifically, he is more valuable here because they are championship
That's
level
what I'm saying.
than anywhere else.
So if you trade for him, you're not trading high on him. Like you're not going to get an equal return in terms of talent.
No.
And it's not like the Celtics need picks. It's not like they're, give me like a late first round pick for Porzingis, because a bad team is not going to want a 1-year deal with Porzingis. It's going to be a good team. And would you trade him in the East? So that eliminates the East.
No, you're not going to trade him in the East, and the field in the West is specifically narrowed. I mean, look, with Porzingis, with the core of this team, you're a favorite not only this year but next year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. This is the window right here.
Right.
This is it. This year and next year. And yeah, you have to sign Derek White to a long-term contract after this season is over. Celtics are apparently open to that, but you didn't assemble this team to get rid of a piece midway through this window. Brad Stevens is going to trade him. Not a chance.
All right. Dave's got next level stats. Dave, go ahead.
Boys, let me take you to a little place called the adult table. I got a next level stat that's going to blow your mind.
Skaboom.
Drives per game. Jalen Brunson averages like 17. Jason Tatum had 29 drives the other night. That's a big stat. And really quick.
What does it mean, Dave?
It means he got to the rim 29 times.
And what happened when he got there?
Well, I mean, he missed all the shots, but that's neither here nor there. But hey, before I go, can I teach you guys a little Italian?
Sure. Yeah, as long as it's not a swear that's going to get me in trouble, please.
It's not. It's not.
All right, Dave. Go ahead.
In Italian, there's a word that kind of means like humorless. It's called dondero. And then into English, it translates into cattles.
Those are my two guys. What are you talking about?
Out of nowhere.
Wow.
What the hell?
We didn't solicit that. That's harsh.
What's the point of that?
I like cattles.
Lord.
You're a nice guy. They do speak in a very similar, authoritative sports talk tone.
I take their sports very seriously.
Shane, go ahead.
Oh, God.
Shane hung up. He couldn't follow it.
Why would you want to follow that?
No.
That's not good.
All right, so if you've ever wondered why I am the way I am, and I'm trying to figure out why I am the way I am, I'm an only child, and I was raised, both my parents, fortunately, are still alive. I still talk to, your dad's alive, John. Your dad's dead, right, Hardy?
Yes.
Your dad's still alive, right?
Yes.
Because if I say to you, talk to your dad, and you go, my dad's dead, it's going to make me look like a fool. And
the
that's
whole
all
the whole Dan Roach thing has followed you along for a long time. You don't
Yeah,
wanna
I
mess
mean,
with
it drives him crazy.
Yeah.
But so how often do you talk to your dad?
Once a week.
Okay, so I don't talk to my dad wants nothing. He doesn't want to talk on the phone.
Okay.
But I talk to my mom 3 times a week, say. So my mom's 82. Yesterday I called my mom, and I said to her, we were talking, and she was like, she's always like, I'm getting old, and I'm like, well, how old was Papa, her father, when he died? And she's like, he was 92. I go, well, Papa was way worse off than you at 82. My grandfather had this, he shook. He had this shaking thing that was some.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, I was always like, we had to, but he would drink. He wasn't an alcoholic. But
could you cut it out?
It wasn't DTs, but we had to he would have a gin and tonic like every day, and we had to put it in a thermos.
Sippy cup.
Yeah, exactly. Because like he would shake it around.
Well, I bet that tasted good though, man. He's just mixing the ice.
Oh,
constantly.
absolutely.
Oh God, that sounds
It's
delicious.
a fixins for a martini. Here's a canister.
He had he only could be a bartender for James Bond. Because if you want something stirred, his hand didn't do that.
No.
Right.
But he shook forever. Like he had this condition where he shook. Like he couldn't when he was.
What an idiot!
Like buttering bread, he would like stab it until it become like pieces.
Big dummy.
Oh man.
Well, it wasn't his fault. It was a neurological disorder.
Oh, about 1,000 pardons. Continue.
Yeah, please, Jesus, Hardy. I mean, the man's dead.
Pop.
So Pop. They called him Pop. I didn't invent it. I had older cousins. Half of them are dead. So he's 90. So he lived to be 92, but he did that. And then I'm like, Pop was all like, he was blind. He was shaking. I'm like, he was all effed up when he was your age. And my mom's like, oh, Freddie, no, there's no way I'm going to live that long. There's no way. I said, Mom, Pop, and she goes, yes, he had colon cancer too. And I go, well, Mom, you don't have any of these things. I'm like, how long ago did he die? And she's like, 20 some odd years ago. I go, 20 years ago. I go, well, he died 20 years ago. So you're 10 years younger. That's going to be 30 years more advanced in medicine. You're not as sick as he was. You have none of these conditions that he had. And she's like, Freddie, I don't know what to tell you. I am going to die before I'm 92. I have my own problems. Don't you worry, Freddie. I am going to die. I go, Mom, you're fighting me. You're like annoyed with me because at the very idea that you're going to outlive your father. And he's like, well, what about Mom? She died at 90. She was older than Pop, but she died younger. I said, do you want to have this argument, Mom? This is the argument that you're having right now. You're on a soapbox telling me how you're going to die before Pop.
And that's got to be one of the biggest indicators of how long you're going to live. Like your parents and your parents' siblings, like that's a really good indicator of what your life expectancy is.
My mother is this. She's been this way her whole life. Like the audacity of someone to claim that they would outlive anyone else.
She doesn't want to be told that.
The braggart. It's like, what a braggart. That guy, that person, look at that person just flaunting around like a peacock. They're going to outlive their father. Please.
Yeah, it's like you're taking something from her by telling her that she's going to have many more healthy years ahead of her. That takes away from her the joy of the belief that she will be gone soon. And she's probably getting some satisfaction in thinking about how much you will miss her. And if you say she's going to live a long time, then that's just delayed gratification.
See, I think that what it is, and I actually know what it is that her belief is what kind of a-hole would sit there and just start saying, oh, well, I'm going to live longer than my father lived.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything, like my family was a big, temper it down, boy. Like, let's not get too big for our britches there, son.
Right.
Like, about anything. Like, Mom, you're going to live longer than Pop lived. Oh, get out of here. What are you? You don't know what you're talking about. Of course not. I'm going to die tomorrow. Please.
Yeah,
because I mean, everyone else is better than me, so they'll live longer.
Well, is she like a spiritual person? Does she feel like maybe she's tempting fate by even considering something like that?
Oh well, that would be more. If tempting fate, I think that would be more of a like a what do you call it? It wouldn't be fate so much as it would be like if you touch something 3 times. Like what is that called?
OCD.
It's throwing salt over your shoulder.
Superstitious?
Superstition. It would be more of a superstition than anything else.
But logically, I could say that about my dad, who did not take care of himself, and he lived to 77. You're like, okay, even though I'm his direct descendant, I could maybe conceivably expect to live past that.
Hardy, you're going to live longer than 77 unless you get really sick or you die, something hits you. Like you get shot or something, which could happen. You keep working with me.
Yeah.
Because I'll say something else about Bill Walton, get more death threats.
Directed toward everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't just you.
No, but it was my fault.
It was your fault, but we all were threatened.
I would have felt like a real louse if someone would have come and killed you.
That's big of you.
I really would have. I would have taken the total blame. Not the psycho that was then offended by it. I would have taken the blame.
So how do you leave things after conversations like this with your mom?
At least she started laughing.
Okay, that's good.
Because I was like, I'm going to talk about this on the radio tomorrow. You're insane. You're sitting here, you're getting annoyed with me and arguing with me about me saying you're going to live longer, and you're making this counter argument. And by the way, it's only 10 years. It's not like this. And then it's like a weird conversation to have with someone because then I realized it was only 10 years. And like imagine if you're 82 and 10 years seems like an unrealistic goal. And I didn't like it anymore at that point.
Yeah, then it starts getting real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like that. My mom is 80, but she's really healthy, and I don't. Maybe I'm just have blinders on when it comes to that. I never think about it. I never think.
Well, no one thinks about it. If you thought about it, you would be. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is you can't think about it. But the thing is that not as easy to talk to her as it was even 5 years ago.
There's a line. I've noticed that with my father sometimes. There's just a line. It's invisible, and it happens right in the 78 to 82 range.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
My patience with their cell phone is through the roof now because, like, I know if I call them in the car, I'm losing them at least 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I used to be like, Jesus Christ. And now, like, I know there's a chance they can still hear me.
Yeah.
So I'll just be like, okay. That's one. Lost them once.
I think my mom is like really aware of it because she's got, like these, I don't know how fancy they are. They seem fancy to me, like the Bluetooth hearing aids.
Uh-huh.
So like different things, like whether it's the TV or the telephone, like everything just gets like, she's like the bionic woman. Everything gets wired into her, tiny little Bluetooth hearing aids. But
fantastic.
If there's ever a hiccup with it on the phone, she's very aware of it. She's like, hold on, this isn't working. I'll just call you back.
She's working at like A+ speed then, because my mother will be like, I'm sitting down, and I'll have to go outside to get the phone to work. And I'll be like, well, that's good for people who take an ambulance 4 times a week. That's good that you have a phone that requires you to be outside for your weekly ambulance rides to the hospital when something in your body blows up.
No.
That's good.
No.
She's like, yeah, I'm sitting down. And I go, you don't sound good. What's going on? I'm very tired. What happened? I had to take my cat in to get his back shaved. Very good. Well, we're not going to ask any more questions. That's just great, Mom. I could see how, A, that would be very tiring, and B, why it needed to be done.
Right.
Like, I mean, who hasn't taken their cat in to get its back shaved? It is summer. After all, I mean, I've shaved my back.
You didn't ask any questions about that? No follow-ups on the shaving of the cat's back?
No, because I was more interested that we took her to get her back shaved when it's a boy. That was interesting to me too. But no. Why? I'm gonna get a suitable answer.
Well, you talk to her 3 times a week. What do you talk about?
I grouse about my life.
Yeah, there it is.
Because she'll move on, or whatever ailment, whatever my parents are in the hospital for at that moment. generally.
Yeah.
Because one of them is going to be in the hospital for something. My mom was in the hospital last week. 2 weeks ago, my dad was in the hospital. But it's nothing chronic, but some gives once a week. They kind of trade off the baton. Who's going to the hospital now? And that Loudoun County Hospital, very nice people, I've been told. Very nice people.
You haven't been there? You go visit
I've been
pretty
there.
often. Okay.
I've been there.
All right.
But when they get the real deal done, they got to go into Lenore. They got to go into Farragut.
Oh,
the University of Tennessee
into the
hospitals.
city.
Oh yeah, into Farragut,
Going
very
into
upscale
town.
suburb. Macaroni Grill, things of that nature. All right, Mike. Mike? How do you pronounce his name? Last name? Mike's name. Your friend.
Dussault.
Dussault.
Yeah,
Or
you're
you
right.
can call him Deuce. You can call him D-Train. Or you can just call him Mike Dussault.
Mike Dussault from Patriots.com. Tonight is a big Tom Brady celebration. My son saw Willie McGinnis yesterday at the Starbucks in Newton. Why? Because he's in town.
Why was he in Newton?
Starbucks.
But why was he at the Newton Starbucks if he's in town for the Brady thing, I wonder?
Well, what do you got? No brain in your head? He's here for the Brady thing, which is 30 miles away.
But Mike Dussault, I don't want to give it away, part of the planning committee for this thing.
Oh, hey. There you go.
He's in the know. So if you want to know what's happening tonight with this Brady thing, Mike Dussault is the man to ask, and he is joining us next.
So, I mean, a lot of people are going to the Brady thing. It's a great planning because it's up against the game 3, but we will have that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
Center. Tom takes the step. Quick throw to Amendola. Screen left. A flag as he reaches across the goal line for a score. There is a penalty marker on the play.
They're offsides. That's in.
The Patriots with an apparent two-point conversion. A conference by the officials. It's a tie game in Super Bowl 51.
High fives for everybody. Give me some.
Remember Tom Brady when he did that?
Fred, at that moment, I knew they were going to win. They were going to win the game. When they tied the game, I said, "That's it. Now they're going to win the game." I knew it. I called. I was the only one to call it.
That guy's awesome.
Tonight is Tom Brady night. They are retiring the jersey. Now, this and third. Ben Volen said that tickets were going for $200. They are now going for $20. I have to imagine that it's a factor. I would imagine that the game 3 is a factor. I'm saying people should go.
Yeah.
I'm saying people should go. I'm leaning people to go for $20. You can go to this Brady thing.
Do whatever you want. Don't look to me for an argument. Argue with Deuce.
Well, I do know that Sarge is hosting the whole thing.
The master.
Ladies and Sarge audio in there. Go look in here for Sarge audio instead of looking at the weather. Go look in here at some Sarge.
Well, it's going to be really nice now. It's going to be 72 degrees.
Yeah, very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sarge's yard.
All right, very good. If people don't know who Sarge is, Mike Dussault is a writer.
Dussault does.
And content producer for Patriots.com. He has been involved in the planning of this whole shebang. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline.
But it's still all good.
Yeah, damn right it is.
Mike Dussault, Sarge is how involved in this event? I'll ask you first of all.
Oh, sure. Well, Sarge is part of the red carpet ceremony, so that'll start about 5:15, 5:30, so everyone can stream in. And Sarge,
see me.
Sarge, myself, and Fitzy, and then Jason McCourty, Dietrich Wise, and Tamara Brown. So they got 6 of us, kind of at different parts throughout the stadium. As people come into the show. They'll send them to various, stations with us, so we'll get to interview, some of the people. So it's it's pretty cool. We did the rehearsal yesterday, and all these guys are coming back. You're seeing a lot of reunions of old Patriots, so it's coming together pretty nice. It's been a long process. It doesn't feel like there's been any off season this year.
Deuce, is that streaming thing free, like to anybody who can go online and watch it?
Yep. So Patriots.com
Sarge is in charge.
And YouTube. Sarge.
No
I got to
charge
work
for
on my
Sarge.
Sarge. He's got that WWE kind of, hey, everybody, get Sarge. So I don't quite have that. We'll need him for that. But it's fully, will be streamed on Patriots.com, Patriots YouTube as well. And they'd like, if you're going to the show, try to get there about 6:30. They'd like everyone in their seats. But just a ton has gone into this. And I think it's going to be really great. We're all really excited.
Okay, so there's 6 stations for the red carpet.
Right, all over the place.
Is Sarge in an area where he won't be seen so much? Did you put him in the basement or something? Where is Sarge?
Close to that. We put him out in the atrium, so he'll be outside the stadium. We don't want to get him too close to anybody. No.
What do we got here?
See me.
A real tailgate situation.
We're having a real rivalry between the red carpet hosts. But yeah, he'll be out in the atrium. Fitzy and I will be up on the main stage, and then they'll have Hardy, kind of where we do the radio show. That whole truck bay is going to be a red carpet, and we'll have all kind of arrivals, not just Patriots players, but people from entertainment, influencers, all that stuff. So it's just
who from entertainment. You tell me what big luminaries?
Yes, who are the Boston area A-listers that will be part of this,
or perhaps international celebrity,
maybe. Well, Paul Perillo, of course, A-lister, number one. That's my guy.
You can assure that.
If lead with the best.
So I get a refund if he's not there.
You
don't want to spoil the surprise here, Deuce.
No, I'm not at liberty to say all of them, but I will say there's some definite surprises, some of which I'm not completely aware of, even that I've been kept in the dark. But there's music, there's comedy.
Bill Burr. Bill Burr is hosting the thing.
Yeah, so that one's out of the bag.
And
so
he's doing a set. He'll do a little set before.
Yeah, he'll do some comedic stylings for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he has some things after the roast to talk about. But as we've been saying, we're hoping this a little bit more of a toast, and even getting some of these I'm producing a couple panels as part of it, and just getting some of these former players together and letting them kind of riff on Brady. And I mean, some of the stories that they've told are just hilarious. So I think that's going to be the best part of it. Really, is just all these teammates coming back. I mean, just throw like Wes Welker's talking to Wes Welker yesterday, coming up from Miami. Guys like that who just, you see these guys who haven't seen each other in years and they're all coming back for Tom. So it was pretty cool yesterday. We did the rehearsal and, all these guys walked it in. What's up? I haven't seen each other forever. So it's a lot. There's a lot of surprises too, many of which I'm not at liberty to say, but if you like music, if you like comedy, it's going to have a little flavor of everything.
Mike Dussault, who helped organize this, when you say there's going to be music, is there going to be people performing full songs? What are we talking about? Ooh.
Yes, full songs, full music, multiple different artists. And it was hard. We really trying to reach to get the best of the best. So, I mean, it's, I know some of it's out there already, but it seems like it's come together. There's going to be, right from the top, it's going to get going pretty fast.
Can I? Is there a blueprint for who will be there this evening?
Interesting, perhaps, okay. But
we all know. How many songs does the unknown blueprint guy sing? How many is he doing?
Hopefully, as many as we can get. But yeah,
is he friends with Brady or is he just friends with Kraft?
That's a good question. I'm not sure who we talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about Jay-Z. But did Tom Brady? I know Bill Burr is a big Patriots fan, and I won't put you on the spot. I know that you can't say certain things. So believe me, you can relax. I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
But did Tom go have anything to say with the planning of the non-Patriot guests?
No. Okay. A lot of this is a surprise to him too.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
that's part of it. So yeah, I mean, he was aware of what was going on, but not a lot of the specifics. So certainly some of the videos that have been produced are really cool. That those he's not aware of, but I think everything's covered. And if you're, and I mean, speaking not as Patriots.com employee, but just as a Tom Brady fan and a fan of the last 20 years. It's just going to be a really cool night. I mean, there's just so much that's gone into it. I know how hard people have worked. And, for me, I just want it to be great for the fans because I know how much this guy meant to everybody and all of us and this whole region. So I think we're going to send him out right. And it's going to be a really cool night.
So last season, when the announcement was made at a halftime of a game, I remember us having a discussion in the post game, and Fred Kirsch and I kind of getting into it a little bit because I said, "Wow, that announcement was really kind of underwhelming in terms of we thought there was going to be something happening at that halftime announcement, mid-season last year. So I imagine much more will be actually happening, things unveiled. Will there be any?" Again, without giving anything away, Mike, something with some permanence to it, as opposed to just the celebration and the songs and the dancing and the festivities. Yeah. Will there be something unveiled and revealed to everybody there that is going to be a permanent fixture?
Sure. I mean, I would say this: they're going forth with Tom Brady like nobody's been retired quite before. So there are certainly some special things that are in store for tonight. That will be revealed that, really put Tom, I think, where we all acknowledge he should be, which is, at the top of the Patriots greats pyramid. So I know what you're getting at, Hardy, and there will be some surprises along those lines.
Statue.
Well, is this part of Will Smith's
for him?
Is this part of Will Smith's redemption tour? Is Will Smith going to be in there? And do you trust
No, we're gonna have Will Smith come out and slap Sarge. That's I think that's what the plan
don't
is.
Tease us.
Well, listen. Well, that's not going to raise the meter.
Hey, when are you looking forward to doing that poop platter, brother?
Come on now, Deuce.
That's very bold of you to have Sarge be part of any of this, but it sounds like he's not doing much, so that's good news for everyone. Because Joe Murray, I want you to know this, Mike, is that Joe Murray had Sarge on last night as if Sarge was hosting the thing. He said,
"Oh, geez,
yeah." So you don't want that. So Mike Tirico is hosting the thing. That's public knowledge. Okay, very good. So
correct. And it's not a traditional, kind of setup, like I said, it's, Bill Burr is, part of it. And, Mike Tirico is kind of hosting some of these panels and, so Sarge is about as involved as I am. So we'll be just standing on stage talking to the I think actually I'm very excited. I've heard that I might get to interview Zoe today on the red carpet. So Zoe and my beloved Bob Sosi. So I'm really excited to ask Zoe some questions. Put him under the hot seat.
So some whip around coverage on Patriots.com. You guys going to be like bouncing from thing to thing as the night gets underway. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, well, that'll be more of the red carpet. So, the people, tune in about 5:30 on Patriots.com, Patriots YouTube, and, you'll get to see everybody kind of coming in and they'll disperse them. Some people will be out in the atrium with Sarge. Some people will be up on the stage with me and Fitzy. Others will be with McCourty, Jason McCourty and Dietrich Wise and Tamara. They'll be kind of on the red carpet, but it's like a full red carpet setup. Right. It's like, we're going to be like Joan Rivers out there. They've got, all these little camera booths and everything. So it should be pretty cool.
All right. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but Willie McGinnis, I know, is going to be there because my son saw him at the Starbucks in Newton. And I said, why is he in Newton? He said, because of the Tom Brady thing. And I said, well, why is he, that's in Foxborough. Why was he in Newton? He goes, well, Starbucks. Very good. Mike Dussault, thank you so much. Good luck
thanks, guys.
tonight.
Busy day, long day.
A long day for you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Very exciting. Jay-Z is performing there.
Aha!
But it sounds like Jay-Z will do a couple songs. So you get to see Jay-Z do a couple things. So that would be nice. So Bill Burr, Jay-Z. Willie
Not
McGinnis.
bad.
Sarge.
More toast than roast.
From downtown.
Sarge, where will you be broadcasting from?
From downtown.
I don't have any doubt that's true.
Downtown Foxborough.
No, downtown Boston.
From downtown.
They'll all be at Gillette. He'll be downtown.
Are you upset that you're not as big a part of this as maybe you had originally anticipated?
But it's still all good.
Okay.
No, good. He's keeping his head up. Very good. Yeah, Joe Murray said, Sarge, we're going to have Sarge on, and my ears perked up. And I went, ooh, Sarge is coming on. And he goes, yeah, he's hosting. He's hosting the big Tom Brady thing. I go, I don't think that's on the level. I don't think they're putting Sarge on stage in front of 60,000 people.
Jim's in.
What is
Because we've given Sarge a microphone before one of our events. And remember, he went on for about 5 minutes?
Yep.
It was too long.
Razzle dazzle.
Yeah, I do.
That's right. He did
he
the old
took the
razzle-dazzle.
microphone, and there was no getting it away from him.
No,
I remember that.
It was not overly well done.
Puts up a brick.
Yeah, that's right, Sargie.
Boom shaka laka.
All right, so very good. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Game 3 of the NBA Finals is tonight in Dallas with the
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I'm seeing everybody is very obsessed with this confession to a crime that I don't remember at all. But Lockhart was telling me it was in New Hampshire. Who is the lady that confessed, Danny O'Brien? Who is this woman?
Pamela Smart was her name. She was a 22-year-old teacher who convinced a 15-year-old to kill her husband. 30 some odd years ago? Let's say 34, maybe?
John, how old were you 34 years ago?
34.
Okay, so you were 34. So you would not
John
have...
was on the jury for that.
John, were you on the jury for this trial? Can you say that does her confessing this crime...
Wallach.
Does her confessing this crime, John, take some weight off your shoulders knowing that you were right to convict her?
I know. I was a lone wolf. Yeah, I feel so much better. Thank God. She's finally come clean and everyone can relax.
Yeah.
Fred, it was one of those not celebrity, but it was one of those stories, sensational stories. So long, that many years ago, because she was, teacher /
Was she like an attractive teacher?
She was an attractive 22-year-old teacher.
And
yes.
she was having an affair with the boy.
With the 15-year-old. He convinced two of his buddies, who's ever going to tell, to kill her. And they'd just been married recently, her husband.
Yeah, if you want the cat out of the bag, be a high school kid who's having sex with a teacher. I would imagine that goes around pretty quick.
At 15? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to imagine that's not something that's held close to the vest.
So for all this time, she was convicted, life in prison. She has never taken any kind of responsibility. I think the three boys, especially the one who was responsible for the actual crime, have done their time. She's in prison for life. She has.
I say let her go.
She's been appealing each and every time that she gets an opportunity to try and get released. So,
well, now that she's admitted it, let's go. Let's let her go. Seems like she's taking responsibility for her actions. You guys have any friends that are in jail for the rest of their lives?
No,
I do not.
I do.
You do?
Oh yeah.
For the rest of their lives.
Jamie Latimer, baby.
What did he do?
He's in one murder. And it was...
That's it?
No, I'm sort of not joking. It was a drug deal gone wrong where he shot a guy in Detroit. And you would think that... I'm wondering why he has life without parole for like one murder.
Wow. What, he was trying to buy drugs or he was selling the drugs?
I'm not sure how it went down. Like, he had been off on his own. Like, when you get into drug deals involving, firearms... that you're kind of like out of the orbit of the Farmington Hills, West Bloomfield crowd at that point.
Yeah.
But he had kind of gone off the deep end. But he was involved in some drug dealing ring, and there was some drug deal gone wrong.
Right.
And I don't know if he got screwed. I think he got screwed over, and he shot the guy. But I could be wrong, and he screwed a guy over, and that was the whole plan. But regardless, he's in jail for the rest of his life. I know a couple guys that are in jail for the rest of their lives. My friend's sister was murdered, and the guy that murdered her, he drowned her in a lake, Cass Lake, Hardy. Drowned her in Cass Lake. He's in jail for the rest of his life.
You don't have a great friend group.
I always thought
better friends.
I thought, well, no, they're not my friends.
Well,
the guy who killed my friend's sister got murdered, and that's no fault of my friend's.
Yeah, you can take a victory lap.
Hardy at 985thesportshub.com. If you really want to take shots at the real criminal here, it's Hardy.
I have one friend who did a couple of years in a federal prison. Well, that was really more of a misunderstanding. In terms of,
I do have a question, Hardy, because of the time you spent in Nevada, in the Las Vegas area. There was no circles or people that you knew in your world, in your orbit then? Because I'm living in Florida for when I did. There was a couple of degenerates that may have been on the street team of one of the radio stations I worked at.
Oh,
I don't know what they're doing now or if they're still with us, but
I have plenty of people in my orbit and in my circle but I never knew their last names. I would never know how to look these people up. There was one guy that was a co-worker of my wife who I believe went to federal prison because he quit his job to be a day trader. Remember when day trading was like all the rage? You could
they shot up a place in Atlanta, a day trader. Yep.
Yeah, but you could, it was right at the time you could start doing this from home.
Online brokerage.
Yeah, and not long after he left his job to become a day trader, we saw him walking around the Hard Rock one night with just, 2 handfuls of black and purple chips Like, oh, things are going really well for you. You're here gambling hundreds and thousands of dollars playing blackjack. Well, none of that money was his, and he was taking money that was being invested from other people and
a Ponzi scheme.
Just going to the casino, just playing blackjack for all hours of the night.
Well, I told you the guy in my orbit of friends in high school, I never been to his house, but he would hang out with us, who came to the high school reunion even though he had been in prison for statutory rape of his first cousin. I told you that one.
Another friend of yours. Go ahead.
I wouldn't call him a friend, but certainly someone that I went to many functions with, that was definitely in my orbit, was around the prom. I always thought where I grew up was was normal, and then once I went off to college, I realized, oh no, none of this is normal at all. There was a great deal of crime that was not going on in other places.
Yeah.
I knew the murdering was a little off.
Unusual, yeah.
I knew that was unusual.
That's out of bounds.
That made the paper.
All right.
Those made the paper. But the I thought everyone had a heroin problem. And I never did any of that stuff. But I thought everyone had a heroin problem, and I thought, Hardy, as you know, and you probably went through it to a lesser extent, I thought everyone had groups of people that would attack and sit out in front of the high school to attack, but that was not the case. So most people from areas of income areas where I grew up, what would I compare? I compare Farmington Hills to Framingham. So, where I grew up, let's say it's like Framingham.
I was going to say more Natick, but okay.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Okay, not where Wallach lives in Natick.
I'm saying it's a little nicer than Framingham, Farmington Hills.
Okay.
Yeah. It would be the border of Framingham and Natick. I have friends who live in Framingham, and it reminds me a lot of Farmington Hills. The houses, everything. I'm saying, let's say a nicer part of Framingham.
Sure.
That's where I'll go.
Fair enough.
And I think the houses in Framingham are actually more expensive than Farmington Hills, but that's a Boston thing. You wouldn't think that you would have had all those hardcore drug cases and murders and guns and stuff in Framingham, right? You would think there would be one outlier.
Yeah.
But in Farmington Hills, it was quite a situation. It was quite a scene. But those were the days.
I'm trying to think what Troy is like. Because we were on the corner, right at an intersection where it was 4 towns. But technically, yeah, I was in Troy, and that's where
Troy would be like Canton.
Yeah, Canton or Dedham, I would say.
Dedham. Yeah, Troy's like Dedham. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Legacy Place. Yeah, Troy's like Dedham.
Yeah.
That's exactly that's where Hardy grew up. Maybe a little further, though.
Canton.
Canton. Canton might be a little nicer than Troy.
Yep.
But Troy's all right. So there you go.
Fine.
But you all saw that this Massachusetts State Police trooper, Michael Proctor, he had to testify, and they made him read his text. It seems for the only reason to read the text was so he would say the C word.
You're
not allowed to say the C word. That's the one word I was having this talk with a friend. It might have been my daughter. The C word is the only word outside of racial stuff. The only non racist or slur. The C word's not a slur, right? So it's not affecting one group of people necessarily. That word is still got some bounce to it. You say that even in a meeting, you got a little bounce to it.
And even when you're watching a Guy Ritchie movie where it gets thrown around a lot, it takes you 20 minutes after they've said it 50 times already, to kind of desensitize to it, because here, that's it. That's the third rail.
The Brits throw it around like it's...
Yeah. It doesn't mean the same thing.
It doesn't, because it doesn't have the same connotation. For some, I don't know why, but it does.
No, it's just the F word around there.
Guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but here...
This guy.
I mean, do you say that? And I don't know if that's always been the case, but certainly now. But if I had to read... That one good thing about being on the radio and being as disgraced as I am is that I'm not sure. Listen, management knows all about my texts. They've all been printed out and shown to them.
Fred, before
that was not my intention.
Before you get to your point, between the testimony last week and the guy over the last couple of days, and I haven't watched the trial at all the last couple of days, but I see that and it makes me never want to text anything to anyone ever again for fear that at some point you may have to go into your phone in a courtroom and start reading your words aloud. And it's just, it's
and by the way,
galling.
you can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of
No,
them.
they're
So
there
it's
forever.
not like you can erase the text, and if they erase the texts are gone.
Yep.
They survive in the system, in the cloud, and somewhere these texts are still around.
They're all there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you ever go through a divorce, like, yeah, you got to, like, because you got to, like, the way my ex-wife and I communicate, I'm not worried about, like, offending her. But you, like, the kids are coming with me for Christmas at this time and this time, and it's kind of like you have to text it.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, the record of your conversation. So, yeah, I'm very well aware of the texting stuff. But the thing, I think the good thing about me is that I don't know how much stuff I could read that would be a big shock to anyone.
Oh, from a shock jock? No, nothing
Yeah.
you're going to say in a text is any more shocking than what you've already said here this morning multiple times. You're just one shock after another.
Yeah, it's shocking how much I love and care. It's shocking how much I give. My philanthropic endeavors. If I was reading, it would just be like, what can I do? What can I do? How can I help?
Sure.
There'd be like, if I say, be the prosecutor, I'm at the Karen Reed trial. I'm Trooper Freddie T. Slip the slippery one. No pockets. Give me on. Come on. Play the role.
What do you want me to question you about?
You're saying. I hear you texted about Karen
On the night
Reed.
in question,
Yeah,
did you text into a group chat?
I did. I heard
sensitive information.
I heard
about the case.
Let me read what I said. I said, "Hey guys, I heard Karen Reed has Crohn's disease. There's this great 5K going on in Arlington to celebrate and to help
Raise
those with
awareness
raise
and-
awareness
yep.
and help those with Crohn's disease. Let's say we get a team together."
Yeah. Now, I know we're supposed to be investigating, but right is right. Let's do our part.
Like, I just think this raised a little red flag in my head, thinking Crohn's disease is terrible for those who suffer from it. What can we do to help?
Let me ask you something, Mr. Philanthropist. How many raffle tickets did you buy at the station golf tournament on Monday?
How many beers did I buy the guys we were playing with?
Okay, so I didn't know they were a charitable case.
They had
those
given
two
money
guys.
to charity to play for it with us.
Okay, so you're just
I
buying
didn't have
them
any
beer.
cash on me. I asked everyone if they took credit cards, and none of them did.
How much did you donate at the par threes when it was time to do the 50-50 par three contest?
I
and
didn't
stuff
have
like that?
cash on me, so
okay.
nothing.
All right, so nothing. All right, just double checking.
I have short arms, but I got a sleeve of the tickets that went from your shoulder to your fingertips, right?
Does anyone...
And it cost you the same. Dan O'Brien, now that is the most generous thing ever because they were selling arm lengths. Dan O'Brien's arms are about 14 inches long, shoulder to fingertip.
You're being kind.
Yeah, that's it. And he had to spend $20 just like anybody else for the arm's length.
Oh,
John
so that's
and I
just
did
a ruse?
the putting challenge.
We did?
We all did the putting challenge.
Yeah, I don't care for Maz's charity. I didn't want to get anything to do with
I
that.
see.
I said to hell with your raffle tickets. I said I didn't really even want to play in it, but it was a contractual negotiation thing. So I mean, if you really want to bring it up, I bought no raffle tickets.
Yeah, in order to get Fred out there to play golf for one day, he had to get an extra 2 weeks vacation, which he'll be using starting Monday.
It is true. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's right.
When you go on
Hardy's off on
vacation-
Friday.
Yeah, I am off on
Spring
Friday.
book. Must be nice. All right, when we come back,
It is.
we have a guy who works for the show. He happens to be Tyler Milliken's cousin.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. And Tyler Milliken's cousin will join us. He has, again, been in the lab, as they say, writing bars, as they say, for one Hardy.
Prolific. I mean, he can't stop.
Did these come on Post-it notes?
Stacks of them. I said, keep them, record them, text them to me. He texts me the vocals. They show up in text form. It's a lot of work to get them to the finished product, but the source material is gold.
Okay, we will have that for you. He has a new treat for us. We'll have that for you coming right up.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Cat's Eye Platinum Home Protection Program is a year-round preventative service designed to keep your home pest-free. The program is customized based on your home.
3 of the NBA Finals, leading the best of 7, 2-0. We'll have the pregame at 7:30, and then the tip-off with Grandy and Max at 8:30 here on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Kristaps Porzingis has been diagnosed with a torn medial retinaculum in his left foot. That has, of course, allowed the dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon. Porzingis said yesterday this injury had nothing to do with his strained calf earlier in the postseason.
It was kind of a random situation. It wasn't like I was limping or something like this before that. I was good, and then this happened. So I don't think it's anything related, and I don't know either. The medical staff would know better, so it is what it is.
Yesterday, the team announced he's day-to-day. Late yesterday afternoon, the Celtics officially listed him as questionable. The Patriots wrap up mandatory minicamp this morning in Foxborough, and then there's the big event tonight inside Gillette Stadium as Tom Brady will be officially inducted into the team's Hall of Fame. Yesterday, the Patriots claimed linebacker Steel Chambers off of waivers from Detroit. The Red Sox got 2 hits and a run in the first inning, and then a total of 2 hits after that, and a 4-1 loss to Philadelphia at Fenway Park. Kyle Schwarber homered twice. Zach Wheeler went 7 strong innings for the win for the visitors. Nick Pivetta will try his luck with the Phillies tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 The Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
This is Kristaps Porzingis.
Left-hand dribble, lobs it. Porzingis catches with one hand and throws it down.
You're listening to the home of Boston Celtics basketball. 98.5 Sports Hub.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. Dr. Jessica Flynn is going to join us, so we're going to have her talk about what's going on with Porzingis. It's a weird injury. Also, tomorrow, Adolfo Gonzalez and Nick Gemelli. Adolfo from Dallas getting audio. Nick from the Garden Party getting audio. I don't know if Road Steamer is going to be there or not to disrupt everyone. We'll see what happens. All right, but someone who is a disruptor of society. You think of like Abby Hoffman. You think of the MC5. You think of people that turned popular culture on its head and really weren't afraid to speak out. And we're almost like beacons in a storm of ignorance. That is Tyler Milliken's cousin, our intern. While other interns will just answer the phones, which only ring about 5 times a show, Tyler Milliken's cousin will sit back there and he'll go, "Hey, I've been working very hard," and he will show me a bunch of Post-it notes with scribbles on them that he's given to Hardy.
So I had an assignment for him yesterday, and you could tell he was mildly annoyed at the prompting. And he did take my assignment and run with it. But as his custom, also came back threefold with enough material here for 3 songs, all celebrating the same man, the man who's being celebrated tonight in Foxborough, Tom Brady. So I gave him the first idea, and this, again, he was like, yeah, that's fine, but that's Bush League. I'll do something with that. I've got a lot more. I got a lot of mo. So, Fred, you can listen to the first thing that he texted me yesterday. Again, I just gave him the song. I said, I think you know what to do with this. And he said, yeah, I got this. You will be able to determine what song it is based on very, very early.
So this is his lyrics to a song that you suggested.
Correct.
Yes, it's Brady's night.
Oh, that's, of course, Straight Edge by Minor Threat.
Sure.
Close.
Very good. All right, we all know what song it is. Here we go.
Yes, it's Brady's night, and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night. Oh, what a night.
I wonder, so you said do Ladies' Night, because Brady rhymes with lady, and he goes, okay, this is Brady's night.
Yeah.
Okay. Not dissimilar to Ladies' Night, the song that he's covering.
No.
Oh, yes, it's...
Oh, I like that when he has to gather himself. This is how you know it's a professional operation.
Oh, what a night. Oh.
Mike Lockhart picked up on a lot of these ticks and breaths and lip smacks. I said it's vocalizing techniques. You'll see singers warming up doing the
Well, Pavarotti was famous for during his when he was especially doing the operas.
Yes,
he going and then visibly going
right.
That's a big technique. Breathe in through your diaphragm audibly.
Oh, yes, it's Brady's night, and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night. Oh, what a night.
15 seconds in. 15 seconds in, and we're still there. How is Nick a man but shaped the way he is? I know. It's a little difficult to understand.
Tom, you are the one. A night that's special everywhere. From Foxborough to San Mateo.
Yeah.
It's Brady's night and the feeling good. Yes, it's Brady's night and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
You can tell he's giving it his all. How many words in the song did he change, Hardy?
Not as many as he does in the other ones. Would you like to hear the finished product?
I would.
Yes, it's Brady's night and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night. Oh, what a night. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night. Oh, what a night. Tom, you are the one. A night that's special everywhere. From Foxborough to San Mateo. Brady's night and the feeling good. Yes, it's Brady's night and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night. Oh, what a night. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's Brady's night. Oh, what a night.
So that
was he thrusting when he did that?
I think he gave it an effort, but he wasn't all that into it because it wasn't his idea. He's like, I've got my own stuff, dude. I've got my own stuff.
Yeah, he's on his own ass. Yep. All right. So this is Tyler Milliken's cousin. This is his own creation, his own song, his own thing, solo song.
He said, I'm on this, dude.
This is a parody. They're supposed to be funny.
I've got two more. And these are both going to be. I'll do the one you want, but I'll do the one you want so I can do the ones that the people really need.
Right. All right. And here is one of them.
Just take those old highlights off the shelf.
Oh yeah. Oh, I would like to see Tyler Milliken's cousin in his underwear sliding around to this.
Just take those old highlights off the shelf. I'll sit and watch them by myself.
Why does he get a southern accent going whenever he does these songs?
I don't know, but Bob Seger is from Detroit, so I don't understand why it's a southern accent.
There's a bit of a twang when he does this.
Today's QBs ain't got the same soul. I like that old time TB12.
Which does not rhyme with soul.
Oh, it's close. Creative license, back off.
John, not close.
Very close.
12 and soul.
But
no.
It's the twang that makes it close.
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna counter that with a big no.
Oh.
Don't try
his press, man. Get right up on that mic, baby.
Don't try to tell me that Mahomes is the GOAT. All that does is gaslight and gloat. In 10 years, Brady was already the best. I like that old time TB12.
Oh,
there's no. What are you going to say? Best in 12?
No. I give up there. That's not
gaslighting gloat.
Gaslighting gloat.
Stop gaslighting me.
Still like that old time TB12. That kind of Brady just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time TB12.
All right. Well, we know it's got hot lyrics, but we now get Prince Paul on the thing. Where the lyrics are done. Let's hear the production.
Just take those old highlights off the shelf. I'll sit and watch them by myself. Today's QBs ain't got the same soul. I like that old time TB12. Don't try to tell me that Mahomes is the GOAT. All that does is gaslight and gloat. In 10 years, Brady was already the best. I like that old time TB12. Still like that old time TB12. That kind of Brady just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time TB12.
I agree, though. All that Mahomes stuff is just gaslighting gloat.
I don't think anyone knows really what gaslighting means.
Well, but
I think we're trying our best to get this thing going, but gaslighting, just no one. I've never been given a satisfactory definition of gaslighting.
Don't try to tell me that Mahomes is the GOAT.
Right, because all that is gaslighting gloat. I don't understand what gaslighting means, but when you put it in a phrase like gaslighting gloat, now it all makes sense.
I just know I've been accused of it by people, and then I still don't, and then I go explain, and then they explain it, I go, I don't think you know what gaslighting means.
Huh.
That's right. Did you go to dictionary?
I'll sit and watch them by myself.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Because it said by myself in the song. So, yeah, you can't.
I like that old time TB12.
Yeah. He said to you, he goes, Brady's night, that doesn't even make sense. I know it's a night for Tom Brady, but what's really obvious is old-time TB12.
Right.
To old-time rock and roll.
Just take those old highlights off the shelf.
That's where his brain, he goes, I got the first verse.
Shelf.
Shelf.
Just take those old highlights off the shelf.
Yep. Well, that's what he does all day. We'll be back. Dr. Jessica Flynn, sports medicine doctor, will take us through the Porzingis injury and his chances of coming back from a medical perspective. Wouldn't you know? All right. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're all asking ourselves, what this injury is. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I can't say Twitter anymore.
No. Doc Flynn NFL on Twitter. And Jess joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Dr. Jess Flynn, hello.
Good morning, guys.
If you have a small broken bone in your toe, can you play baseball with it and let it heal later?
Depends which bone.
Small one, not causing a lot of pain.
Maybe.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, we should use this time not to talk about Kristaps Porzingis, but just about our own injuries of ourselves, family members. My neighbor broke 5 ribs. He fell off a ladder a few days ago, Doc Flynn. And he's walking around. He's okay, but how long is he going to feel crappy? Weeks, months?
Yeah, that's a tough injury, and that's a tough guy.
Yeah.
I would say weeks.
Okay,
You're not
I'll let
even
him
bringing
know.
up the big problem you had falling in your garage.
No. That's nothing. And it's
Doc Flynn, how do you mend an open heart, broken heart? Because Lord knows I'm trying. All right. So in all seriousness, Kristaps Porzingis, this sent everyone for a loop because no one had ever heard of this before. He suffered a torn medial whatever thing, allowing dislocation of his posterior, whatever it is. You say it. What happened? What you tell me,
What
Doc.
did he do?
That's why you're on.
So yeah, there's a tendon on the inner ankle that helps you kind of push off and gives you some spring in your step, and it's called the tibialis posterior tendon, and it's held behind that little bump on the inner part of your ankle called the medial malleolus. It's held back by something called the retinaculum, which is just like a little rubber band. And it sounds like that tore, and then the tendon popped over the bone, so it was kind of in the wrong place.
Okay,
and it's really painful. Yeah.
Okay, so is it if you were to continue like normal activity on that or athletic activity on it, is it something that can lead to other injury? Is it something that can become more severe? Does it need rest, or things will get worse?
Well, I think the first thing is can you be effective with that injury, right? That's the main thing. I mean, can you be effective playing baseball? Maybe. If you were 7'3" and you were trying to play basketball, or you really have to jump and quickly change direction, that's going to make this really difficult, especially for Porzingis, who has a similar kind of type of an injury that's limiting his ability to jump and push off on the other leg. So that's really the main issue is, could he even be effective tonight if he plays?
Ultimately, is Kristaps Porzingis going to need surgery on this thing?
So if the retinaculum is torn to a point where the tendon is not in the right spot and it won't stay in the right spot, then yes, the only way to fix this is surgery.
Okay, so we saw him playing after the injury. There's obviously a pain threshold when it comes to every injury, but in terms of the actual ability to do something, you mentioned the jumping. Is it something that he could continue to play through, do you think, or is that just a fool's errand because you could risk further injury and just make things worse?
Yeah, I think, could he possibly play? Yes, especially in the NBA Finals. I wouldn't rule that out. I think it would be very difficult, again, not just because of this injury, but because he can't compensate with the other leg because that's also injured. But could he cause further injury? I know that's the question you guys both asked. We've seen this with him, right? Like he struggled with some calf injuries. Then he rolls his, ankle. Then he suddenly strains the soleus, a few plays later on the other leg. And now we're back to the first leg, with the retinaculum tear. So, yes, you can see worse injuries by trying to overcompensate for this injury.
All right, Dr. Jess Flynn, with the body of Porzingis, 7'4", built the way he is, he's been given a body that the game of basketball he's specifically made for. His skill set that is an albatross, his size, and every other factor of life. But here he is playing basketball, but his body, Dr. Flynn, continues to betray him. Is that because of his size? Is he more vulnerable to injuries? Are these guys that are this big, does that make them more vulnerable to this kind of stuff?
I think it does. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to move that mass with these long lever arms, these long legs, Yeah, I do think they're at increased risk of injury. but, he's just had a bad run the past, month or so.
What a curse, Doc Flynn, to be given such a gift.
Well, we've seen
But then with one hand and then but your body is not built. It's built for it, but it's not built for it. Doc Flynn, how do you come to grips with that as a physician?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time talking to my patients and helping them through with the mental side of their, athletic skill.
Okay, so this is interesting, though, because when it comes to tendons specifically, you see sometimes an injury like Gabe Kapler suffered, which he himself admitted to me at one point. He's like, yeah, I probably put too much strain on my tendons because I was trying to get too bulked up and I was trying to, add so much mass, and that puts wear on the tendons. Does just the sheer length of Porzingis and his limbs and stuff like that make him more susceptible to tendon injuries and ligament injuries?
I mean, maybe. It's really hard to say. The other thing you have to consider is it's the load of the season, right? It's just the load that you're putting on these tendons. And yeah, it can somewhat be related to size. When you're talking about someone who's overtraining, what's happening with them is their muscles are just too strong. And you see like these freak ACL tears, right? Where ligament tears, where the muscles are just allowing them to cut super quickly and more quickly than they should be able to. And that's when they tear the ligament. But this is a little bit of a different scenario. This is more of a muscle tendon kind of an issue.
Well, that's why I tend to keep myself lean, guys.
Right.
Pliability.
Sure.
Because you always say, why are you not more vascular or bulked up? And I'm like, I got mechanics hands.
Right.
Sure.
Like real strong, but you can't see it. That's why. Keep the ligaments in check.
Somebody asked you if there was any similarity to this and the Kurt Schilling famous bloody sock injury, because same part of the body, and I think you said not really, but sort of.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, it's the first thing I thought of when I saw this, when I was talking with my foot and ankle colleagues. It's the first time they thought of, or first thing they thought of. But this is different. So the tendons on the outside of the ankle, which Kurt Schilling was struggling with, first of all, that was really a pain tolerance issue. It was an annoyance of that thing clicking every time you wound up to try to pitch. And obviously the demands of a pitcher on the mound are different than a 7'3" guy trying to jump and move up and down a basketball court. So it was just a very different injury.
But ultimately, with surgery, there shouldn't be any long-term ramifications for this. You get surgically repaired, you rest, and you're fine afterwards.
Yes, that's the best news out of all of this.
Okay. Do you have foot and ankle colleagues, Fred? Well, Doc Flynn said she consulted her foot and ankle colleagues on this.
Yes.
Do you have foot and ankle colleagues
Yeah,
as well?
Wikipedia.
Okay, same thing.
Of course.
Same thing.
Of course.
All right.
You did your research.
You know what? I don't have that. I wish I did, but I don't have it. Dr. Jess Flynn, it's exciting times to be Dr. Jess Flynn as she gets to be on the radio, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Highlight of the day.
At Doc Flynn NFL on the Twitter. And Doc Flynn, we had to get you on right at 8:20 because you're off to practice medicine.
Yeah, I dabble in that during the day.
All right. Now, how do you know Mr. John Wallach?
Oh, I'm a big fan. I've been listening for years.
You're a big fan of John.
Yes, of course. Why wouldn't you be?
Let me tell you, the day I saw that Doc Flynn followed me on the old Twitter, I'm like, oh, I am somebody in life. Now, she follows a fair number of people, but I'm like, okay, we're almost, in the same circle. She might even refer to me one day as a colleague. What do you think of that, Fred?
We've sat and had food together, right? And I feel like at Gillette sometime.
Oh,
at some point.
Maybe up in the press box there?
Yeah, up in the press box.
Yeah, see?
It sounds like one of you remembers and one of you doesn't. I think you would remember. You remember when you had dinner with Missoula. You won't shut up about it.
Well,
no.
I was more intimidated by Doc Flynn. She's a doctor. Okay?
I understand that.
Of course.
She is Doc Flynn, as a matter of fact. Yes. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Jess Flynn. It's a pleasure, and good luck healing the sick. You are doing God's work. God bless you, Doc Flynn.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Have a great day.
All right. Thanks
for being
here.
Yeah, go Celtics.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Now, let's not go crazy.
All right.
Stand them losing one here. Get a little action.
Clinch it home.
That is really a more personal conversation for you in terms of what it means for your work life and daily life. honestly, what would you hope for at this point, Fred? Do you want this thing to go 7? You want to just keep talking about it, or are you convinced that they're going to win it and just get it over with and let's complete the sweep?
No,
What do you want?
I obviously want the Celtics. This is all for selfish reasons. I want the Celtics, and I think as a fan of basketball, but not particularly a Celtics fan, I want the Celtics certainly to win the championship. That's great for everyone. It's very exciting in town when that happens. That's great. I'm not a Celtics fan, but whatever. That I would much prefer they win.
Yeah.
But a sweep is not what I want. Of course not. Of course I don't want that.
Okay. All right.
I want more basketball. 6 would be good.
Nope, 5. That way they clinch here.
Yeah, but 5 is kind of like they clinch here, which is
I don't want to
fun.
mess with Game 7s, just 5.
But I just said Game 6. I didn't say I wanted to mess with a Game 7, you fool.
If they're going to clinch here, it can either be 5 or 7. So clinch here.
But
I don't want
they
to mess
lose
with Game
tonight.
5.
They win Game 4,
And then
3-1. Then they lose at home. Now you're like, you just got that little tinge of ooh. But what are the chances Dallas wins 3 in a row? The chances are none. So
I don't know that I care about them winning it here.
Yeah, well, it would be fun for us because we send young Nicholas out there. He's very bottom heavy,
But he's going to go out to the watch party anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know if it's this. Yeah, I don't.
am?
Yeah, I guess because they're having the watch parties. Good point. But I certainly don't want to sweep under no circumstances. Nor do I want. I actually would prefer. I'm not rooting against them. Dallas, by the way, a favorite tonight. They were a favorite last night for tonight, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Because Joe Murray was saying they covered on Game 2, and then favorites that covered the game before generally win the next game. What do you got?
I
You
got
tell me.
Mavericks laying 2.5 tonight, minus
Yep.
110.
Yep.
Over under 212.5.
Minus 135 on the money line.
And Joe says if you go, I get a lot of my information from Joe Murray. Joe Murray says that if you go by history, if you go by trends, teams that cover, this is pretty odd, but teams that cover the game before and then play at home, like for the vast majority
Sure.
of them win. So that like playing a close game, then coming home, if you're a favorite, you generally win. That's apparently why the line is the way it is. It's not just the Porzingis injury.
There's a bit of history there.
And I guess the idea that Kyrie Irving, there's no way that the idea that Kyrie Irving's not going to suck 3 games in a row and him being at home is going to reinvigorate them. And also perhaps maybe they'll let him handle the ball in full court situations, which I'm again obsessed with. I don't understand on misses why you don't give a struggling Kyrie Irving the ball and let him push tempo up the court. I understand Doncic can't keep up, and I understand you need Doncic to be your leading scorer. I understand all of that. I get it. He needs it, and he can't play that up-tempo game. But I'm telling you, John and Hardy, on misses, not made baskets, then give it to Doncic and let him walk it up and be fat.
It's not unprecedented. The pace this year has been quicker for Dallas than it has been the last 4 or 5. Dallas usually ranks near the bottom of the NBA in pace. Now they're towards the middle of the pack. I don't think Kyrie Irving being there is a coincidence for that.
And don't you, John, and tell me if I'm wrong. I don't. You can obviously tell me if I'm wrong. But don't you think that you're limiting a great skill of Irving's he's one of the great ball handlers of all time by keeping him if the shot clock's at 13 and you give him the ball in half court, that's not using all of his skill set. Like off a miss, giving a ball in a full court transition situation and using his quickness and speed, isn't that preferable to having Doncic hold the ball for 15 seconds and then passing out?
It's worked all the way up until now. The question is Jason Kidd a good enough coach to adjust? I mean, it takes a significant amount of balls to take the ball out of Luka Doncic's hands. Just the most important part of the season.
Just in those scenarios.
But yes, there is definitely a need for a change, regardless of how close Dallas got in Game 2. And I was talking with Maz about this at the golf tournament.
Save it. We'll do it after the break because this is good stuff. 617-779-0985. We talked to Doc Flynn. I'm all charged up now. I feel like I knew as much as she did. Because
I did not get that feeling at all.
I was following it. I learned how to pronounce all the things. What's
the injury again?
It's called the torn medial rectilium, allowing dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon. So I said that without it.
Stuck the landing.
It has something to do with your butthole.
Got
That's
it.
all I know. It's all a gape. You know?
Don't give him that. Don't even give him that.
It's toilet humor. Easy toilet humor.
Yeah. That's what,
right where I'm coming
that's
from.
why I'm imploring Wallach not to give you anything.
John,
like
give
that.
it to me. Just empty toilet, easy hack humor. Just give it to me.
Huh.
That's right, Tyler Milliken's cousin. You're on my team. All right. We'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
Kristaps Porzingis, a big question mark tonight for the Celtics when they visit Dallas.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Talking about how Dallas is 617-779-0985 if you would like to call in. We were talking about how Dallas is a favorite tonight. I was telling you that Joe Murray was saying that the trend is if you cover the day, the game before, you're a home favorite. The trend is vast majority of these teams win that game. We were talking about John, and what were you saying before I so rudely cut you off?
I've completely forgotten. I've lost my train of thought. We were talking about how it would take a significant amount of balls for Jason Kidd to change tactics at this point.
Yeah,
because it's all worked. I mean, they've beaten some really good teams to get here.
My whole point with if Kyrie Irving, all right, so say Kyrie Irving, part of the reason he's struggling is the Celtics defense, which is probably 50% true. Just say that's the case. And the other half was Boston, being in Boston. All right, well, now he's not in Boston. What does Kyrie Irving do better than anyone else on the floor is handle the ball. He's one of the best ball handlers of all time, and he's quick and he's fast. So what I think it does, just by the first two games, when Doncic has the ball and walks it up court and holds on to it for 15 seconds of the shot clock and then passes it to Kyrie's ability as a quick ball handler, you're cutting his legs out from under him because now he's got no time to work and he's got no time to and he's got no space. So what are you going to do? I don't understand. And just to now that Porzingis is probably out, Horford's old, tire this team out. If you get Kyrie, miss baskets in transition, get the ball in Kyrie's hands and have him exploit this defense in transition. That's how I would try to get him going.
Do you have two major things if you're the Celtics tonight? And I don't expect Porzingis to play. All indications are that this is going to be a tough injury for him to play through, not just tonight, but for the rest of the series. The non-Horford minutes are going to be important. We talked about that during the Indiana series when Luke Cornett came out there, and they did not play well with Cornett out there. And Dallas, though their big men are offensively challenged, I would expect the same thing tonight. And you need a bigger game from Jason Tatum. You need more offense from Jason Tatum. If he comes back with 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, while that looks good, without Porzingis on the floor to space things a little bit, you need Tatum to play much better.
It's the making the most of the possessions, too. And if he only has that as his stat line, okay, what's the rest of the story? Is he 6 for 22 again from the field? Because as many assists as he's getting, and they're important, I get it, but it's not enough to make up for the lack of points that he himself is putting on the board. I've been more impressed and happy with his rebounding more than anything, but that's not enough from Tatum. It's great. It's a great added benefit to have him engaged and to have great positioning on the missed shots. They're almost all defensive rebounds. So okay, good. No second chances for the Mavericks, but you need more points, especially tonight if Porzingis is going to be out.
What would be fascinating is if I mentioned this earlier, if this game was close coming to the end, and because you would think, all right, there's 6 possessions per team left. There's like 3 minutes of the game left, 4 minutes of the game left.
Yeah.
And so each team's got 5-6 possessions left. That means the superstars, that's when the superstars take over. That's when the superstars get the ball. You would think that if the game's tied 5 minutes, 4 minutes left in the game, they have an advantage with Doncic and Kyrie, two guys who've proven to be clutch, two guys that have, Doncic this playoff, Kyrie Irving's won a championship. You got to figure that these guys are the ones that are going to be clutch. The Brown-Tatum matchup that's where it would really come down. Because the conventional wisdom is if the game is close at the end, that's where Dallas has an advantage because they're the worst team, but they got the two best players, the two most clutch players.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when it really becomes the Tatum show. That's when it's interesting. If the Celtics are down by a lot or the Celtics are up by a lot, whatever Tatum, if they're up by a lot, I don't really care what Tatum's stat line is. It doesn't matter. Obviously, if they win a championship, it doesn't matter what Tatum's stat line is. And everyone who says no one's going to care, you're absolutely right. It will be a barroom discussion that if I'm Jason Tatum, why would I give an F?
It'll be a discussion for max contracts and what you want to do with
he's
this
getting
team.
a max
No.
contract.
There's no discussion. He's getting a max contract regardless of how he plays.
He's set. Like he is an All NBA player.
He's
like,
getting his
set.
super max, and he's getting it this summer.
It'll be, but that will be a discussion.
Right. Of course, it will be a discussion among fans.
Point. Yes.
But it's going to be. But that's a barroom discussion. Like again, it's just like one of these things. Look, if he has a bad game or if he has an okay game and they lose, he'll have to eat it for 3 days. I'd avoid the media because that's what we'll all be talking about. But then you win game 4 and it's all forgotten. It's if he wins a championship, this is all a moot point or a point that's like for some dumb weekend shows Mount Rushmore of Celtics players, and then you can do that.
Oh, we should do that.
Did I just say it was dumb though? Never mind. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Russell, Bird, Havlicek. Mm-hmm. And then, then you throw in whoever you want.
Sure.
But that's really just like a whatever. If I'm Tatum, I don't care about any of that. Like, go ahead. Like, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. I got paid and I won the championships, and that's all I care about. But that's fascinating to me. That's what this series really needs, a little juice. Celtics win or lose. Tie game, 3 minutes left. All right, there's 4 superstars on the court. 2 All-NBA guys.
Yeah,
who's making the shot? Who's the most clutch?
That's stuff that people talk about years from now.
Yes,
when it's close and you have 4 at least 3 future Hall of Famers on the floor.
Because that's if you pass the ball and if you pass the ball to Derek White and he misses the shot, no one's blaming Derek White for that. That's where. I think, and that's not like a straw man sports talk thing. I think that's a legitimate thing. 3 minutes left in a finals game. The superstars are the guys who should be taking the shots. Or if they pass the ball, if they give the ball up, because it's the right quote unquote basketball play.
Sure.
That's up to Paxton to make the shot.
No Marcus Smart. No Marcus Smart this time. How many open shots did he have during the playoffs last year and the year before that he took? There was a reason he was open. The teams they were playing, Miami, would live and die with Marcus Smart taking the last shot. Now you have Drew Holiday, my favorite for MVP, with the ball in his hands. This is much different than last year. So even if Tatum or Brown make the right basketball play and pass the ball, I remain confident that anyone they pass the ball to will make that shot.
The Jordan, when he gave it up, was it Paxton or Kerr? Which white guard?
It was both.
Oh, 2 white guards. And how many of them did he hit in the face in practice?
I don't know.
Well,
he just punched Kerr in the face. He didn't punch Paxton.
You don't think he ever punched Paxton drunk and gambling?
No, I saw after watching.
All coked up on the team plane? Just dropped $2 million?
The Kerr story is famous. I don't know about that. The Last Dance, they detailed the Kerr thing. Not anything to do with Paxton.
Okay.
Paxton in the first run of the 3, and then Kerr in the second run of the 3.
Right. So if you give the ball up, you better have it.
I understand. You just have to accept some things, and one of them is that Tatum is going to get the max deal, and that's that's happening. That's fine.
Yes.
But I still think it's an interesting conversation, maybe even beyond the barroom conversation. Let's say we come in here tomorrow, and win or lose, Tatum has another similar game, and the question will be, at least in my mind, when it comes to Jason Tatum, is he having a bad series? Right now, I wouldn't say he's having a bad series because he's doing enough away from scoring points to where he's more than a passenger and he is contributing. But if it's another bad shooting night and he doesn't put points on the board, you can't say that he's having a good series.
No.
And if if that continues, win or lose the series, Fred, in the immediate aftermath, it won't matter. Celtics win banner 18. Fantastic. Everything's right with the world. But I think it's at least okay to talk about Jason Tatum's contributions and what will be now 2 finals series where he has not been the best player on the court, much less for his own team.
Okay, what are you going to do with the money? You don't give him the max deal. What are you going to do? Like, how are you spending that money?
There are plenty of teams out there would give him that.
No, well, every team would give him that max deal. So, but my thing is, all right, Tatum, you go. I don't want to pay you this money. Now I have my team without Jason Tatum. What am I going to do? And second of all, who am I trading? I trade Tatum for what? Anthony Davis and Chris Paul? Like, wait, what am I, like a three-way, like what am I getting in return for Jason Tatum? There's no return on a trade that you're going to get that's going to be equal to Jason Tatum. And fine, I freed up all this money. There's no one I can spend the money on that's going to add up to Jason Tatum. No one his age and his skill level. It's a done deal. Now
it is a done deal. I just don't like the notion that it's a conversation you can't have.
I didn't say it's not a conversation you can't have, but it's just not going to. There's no. It's a futile conversation in that there's no way they're not going to do it. No, and there's really no logical reason not to. That you have a kid in his 20s that's an all NBA player that you're going to give him the money you're allowed to give him, and that's it. And then there's no scenario where you get rid of him and you're better in return. Like there's no collection of return that you're going to get in the NBA the way that it is now that's going to add up to Jason Tatum. You're in a position where you've had this historical run this year. You keep this team together as long as you can. And then it's really just where he places all time is really the question.
Yeah.
If there's ever been a more boring superstar.
That's the sliding scale of where he winds up in the pantheon of Celtics superstars.
He's inserted himself as a Celtic at least until his early to mid 30s. And then, what if he wants to pull a Jordan, he can. But he's here. And now it's just a matter of if they win a championship, how many championships they win, and where he lays his legacy. Because if they win the championship this year, I know none of us are really going to care how he performed. But I am interested tonight. I kind of hope it's a close game at the end, and we get to see Tatum, Porzingis, Irving, who's taking the shot, who's got the balls.
I think it's going to be Porzingis.
Brown. You meant to say Brown.
Did I say Porzingis?
You said Porzingis.
You meant to say Brown.
I got Porzingis on the brain. He's so cursed. His body is built for basketball, but it's not. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like a Greek tragedy.
This game tonight is the most compelling one because I don't think
Dallas' favorite.
Right. And I don't think they're going to end up losing this series, but there will be questions. There will be questions, especially if Porzingis is out and Tatum and others aren't able to step up and make up for that loss of points that he's provided in the first couple of games. And it's gonna cause questions.
All right. Very good. We will be
Banner
back.
18 makes me feel fine, blowing through the rafters in my mind.
That's nice.
Tyler Milliken's cousin really adds to the drama and suspense of this evening.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say, like no one else does. God bless you, Tyler Milliken's cousin. Andrew Callahan's going to join us live from Dallas. You say he covers the Patriots. No. He's covering the Celtics, too. He's down there. We'll talk to him in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way. This is the flagship station of the Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics swarm the floor.
WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Is the media group station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics and Dallas Mavericks will get together tonight for Game 3 of the NBA Finals down in Texas. Celtics lead this best of 7, 2 games to none. We'll begin our coverage at 7:30 with the pregame show here on the BetMGM 98.5, the Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Grandy and Max will have the tip at just after 8:30 Eastern Time. But the big story heading into this one is the health of Kristaps Porzingis. He's been officially listed as questionable with a dislocated posterior tibialis tendon down the back of his left leg. If he's unable to go, Jaylen Brown still has confidence in his team's chances for this evening.
We've been priding ourselves on next man up mentality, prepare for these moments to be able to play with and without anyone. So it'll just require somebody else on our team to step up and everybody to buy in to get a full team victory.
Porzingis walked without a limp heading into his media availability yesterday. As for the Patriots, yesterday was a community service day for the team. They'll wrap up mandatory minicamp this morning in Foxborough, and then tonight in front of a sold-out crowd at Gillette Stadium, Tom Brady will be inducted into the team's Hall of Fame. The New York Jets began their mandatory minicamp yesterday. Aaron Rodgers was not there. This has been termed by the team as an unexcused absence. At Fenway Park, Kyle Schwarber hit a couple of home runs. The Red Sox began a very tough week with a 4-1 loss to Philadelphia. Nick Pivetta will try his luck with the Phillies tonight. And in golf, the U.S. Open begins tomorrow morning at Pinehurst number 2. 2022 champion John Rahm withdrew yesterday thanks to a foot infection. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, keeping drains flowing for homes and businesses in the greater Boston area since 1976. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Hold everything 98.5 The Sports Hub has to offer in the palm of your hand.
I need that.
Listen live. Get breaking news.
I need it.
Download the Sports Hub app. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
He's doing anything and everything he can to be ready for the game tomorrow. It's a serious injury, and at the end of the day, our team and the medical team is not going to put him in.
Due to the corpse, I don't think you could do now. I'm going to go so far as to say.
Well, the actual things you could never do, but what you're saying is you can't say. You can't even say that you would do it.
I listen because they're great, but I'll listen on YouTube like last week to some like Stern. There's a 20-minute clip of him just yelling about what he's going to do physically to Imus. He's going to beat him with his feet is the thing I can say. But he gets into great detail about how he's going to violate him and the results of that violation and everything else. And I just listen to it and I go, if I even referenced anything to that nature, I would be at least get a talking to. I can tell you that. When Mankow's dad died, he's got to feel kind of bad about this. Stern was like made fun of him, like sent stuff to the station when his dad died, had his dad calling in from hell. All that's fine. But he said he was going to dig up the corpse and he was going to do all this stuff to the corpse. And you're like, you're not even allowed to call someone a hippie anymore. This is very, very different times.
Different times.
Andrew Callahan's thriving in these times. He, of course, you know him as a reporter and columnist dealing with the Patriots. But the Boston Herald said, Callahan, you're a superstar. Let's get you on the Celtics beat as well. If you follow him on Twitter, he's all over these things. He's in Dallas. He writes for the Boston Herald. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hi, Andrew Callahan.
Howdy, partner.
Oh, there you go. Someone is down there with the Dolphin Gonzalez, who will be joining us. He'll be getting crowd audio for us tonight. Our old friend Adolfo Gonzalez. Andrew Callahan, we had, I don't know, I don't want to one-up you here, but we had Dr. Jessica Flynn on, and she was talking about Porzingis' injury, and she said combined with the injuries he already has, he might be ineffective. Are you hearing anything about his status?
I don't have anything reporting-wise on Porzingis. What only I can offer is what I saw with my eyes yesterday, and a guy walking around with the sleeve around his left ankle. He still has that same upbeat attitude when he spoke with reporters and said he's optimistic because that was a question posed to him. Are you optimistic? So that wasn't the word he chose to use. It was one he echoed. And when he walked away, he didn't really have any type of a limp. But we know that walking towards a stool is very different than running up and down the court in the most pressurized game of your entire life, which is exactly what game 3 will be for Porzingis, injury or not. So there is really limited precedent for this injury. I think Jessica makes a great point. Again, not a doctor here, but the history of injury, 7'2", 7'3" guy who just came off an injury in the other leg. It's not just the ankle itself. It's how does his body perhaps overcompensate and create issues elsewhere. That's the risk here, the secondary injury risk.
Okay, so why is this why Dallas is favored? Why Dallas is a Vegas favorite tonight? Why is Dallas favored?
Well, Dallas is favored because they're going to play with a type of desperation that the Celtics just can't fake. I mean, that's being down 0-2. That's being back home, in front of your home crowds. I think Joe Murray just tweeted this out that, teams that are down 0-2 in the finals in the first half covered the spread 66% of the time in the first half, and then it's a little over half for the entire game. So this is just how the finals work. Like you're down that much, you're that desperate, you're at home, you should be favored. But I did notice though, Porzingis' news changed the spread from Dallas -1.5 to a full -3 points, 2.5 in other places.
Wow.
So there is some disbelief here in Vegas that he's going to play.
Do they need Porzingis to win this series in 5 or 4?
In 5 or 4, yes. Overall, no, and that's obviously because of the cushion they built up. It's a very different series without him, and I worry more about their depth. But I don't think they need him to win the whole thing.
Okay, what are they saying in Dallas about Kyrie Irving? Because they're a different fan base. They don't care as much about basketball as here. They got that Jerry Jones oil money.
Oh yeah,
they're all running around
right.
shooting off 6-shooters, being racist. Unlike here.
I can't verify any of that, but I can tell you.
But you can speculate.
Go ahead, please speculate.
Hold forth,
wildly.
Andrew Callahan.
All right, go ahead. What are they saying about Kyrie Irving there?
So there's a lot of blame at Kyrie Irving's feet, but also their role players, right? I mean, the line has been basically, is anyone going to help Luka? So Kyrie is not highlighted specifically there, but I can tell you I didn't have to wait to come down to Dallas to hear that. After game 2, I'm sitting writing my column from the same media space in the Garden, and there's a Mavericks podcaster going off and what sounded like to me, because he's on Zoom, a one-man therapy session, just trying to talk through it about game 2.
Isn't that every podcast? That's certainly everything Kreischer's on. Is it one-man therapy
my
session?
podcast, that's for sure. But no, he's just going. He said maybe 5 or 6 times, just standing there alone, headphones on, speaking and holding a microphone. The chance where Kyrie sucks, and they were right. So, yeah, there's some frustration here with Kyrie, but I think they understand whether it's his track record over his career or even just in these playoffs. The guy's shooting, 49% overall, 47 overall, 39% from 3. He's going to break out. It's just a matter of it's tonight when they really need him or in game 4 when they might already be down 0-3.
Well, that's the point, Andrew. And I'm not arguing with you, but, really it's an argument with the Dallas fans or anyone who still has hope. The point of having a guy who is clutch, who has been there before, who is a good player, is you don't go in the crapper in the first 2 games of the NBA Finals when you're on the road, and you desperately, at the very least, need to split that opening series. Or I would say, be one of the main reasons why you couldn't win either one of those games is because you're the guy who didn't come to play. And whether he's losing the handle on the ball or just having a terrible shooting night, I mean, I just have to believe it's got to be a louder chorus of people really disappointed in the way he played in those first 2 games.
Yeah, I would say so too. And then I think, though, the images in game 2 of the Celtics watching the ball go to Derek Jones Jr. and step back, like the opposite of the kid in Little League when you're taking steps in from the outfield because he's not going to hit it anywhere. They're like, no, please go ahead and shoot it. And he's shooting an air ball. Maxi Kleba has an air ball. I think that's sticking with the fans versus the guy who, Kyrie knows what he's doing behind a mic. I think he's won them over the last 13 months. But you're absolutely right as far as his performance and why they're probably down 0-2, and that being reason number 1 with a bullet, because I wrote before this series, he has to be the 3rd best player in the finals for Dallas to win. He's been outside the top 6, and it's not just the 14 points per game. It's not just 0 of 8 from three. It's these kind of moments where I don't know if you guys felt this in Boston, but the crowd would get louder. The Celtics are on these mini runs, 6-2, maybe 8-0, and he just gets tunnel vision, like this myopic hero ball approach, rushes a shot, takes an extra difficult shot, misses it, and then the run just continues, like feeling like I want to answer this, I want to shut them up, and you can't have those in the finals. And so that's definitely part of it, as well as all the stats that we just rattled off.
What do you think his main problem is? Is it the fans in Boston, or is he just in a slump at the worst possible time?
I mean, I think it's Drew Holiday. That would be my answer. Derek White's in there. Jaylen Brown's playing terrific defense overall, but especially in Kyrie Irving when he gets him on a switch. So I would start with the Celtics defense. Now, Drew Holiday was the same guy before game one when asked about how do you stop Kyrie Irving. His answer was pray. So there's definitely some luck in here, what you would call the slump. And again, I fully expect Kyrie to break out, if not tonight or in game four. But their defense has been spectacular. And that's not just on Luka, who has 6 points in the fourth quarter over both these games. It's been Kyrie, too.
All right. Andrew Callahan, do you think that Dallas wins tonight?
I do, and that Porzingis injury swung me over. But what we just saw in game two, the Celtics shooting 25% from three, winning anyway, when they had been 1-4 when they shot that badly or worse during the regular season from three, they could shoot 40% or more from tonight. And it doesn't matter that Porzingis is out. Obviously, Porzingis would help that. But I think just given the uncertainty around this injury, the secondary injury risk, meaning hurting something else, maybe in his right leg or elsewhere in his left leg, I think he sits, because the other part about this, guys, you have to consider, game 3 and 4, this is the only pair of games where there's one off day in between, not two. So if you're the Celtics going, okay, we have a 2-0 series lead, he's going to have short rest after this, why don't we just give him a break tonight? It might not make a huge difference, but if we win, great. If we don't, then we bring him back for game 4 and we really, really need him. And I think his absence in concert with Dallas's desperation gives the Mavs a close win tonight.
Andrew, if your boss had called you 36 hours ago and said, I'll give you the choice, you can either cover game 3 of the finals or the Tom Brady retirement ceremony.
Game 3 of the finals.
Really?
Yeah. I think tonight is going to be spectacular. I've been touch and go with Fitzy. Who's going to be emceeing tonight. I know there are rumors about certain celebrities, singers,
Jay-Z
maybe some stand-up comedian. Yeah.
Bill Burr's
going to be there.
It. Yeah, Bill Burr. Kenny Chesney. That's very exciting.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a lot of fun. My folks are going. I think they're going to have a great time. I would have been there if I hadn't been here for game 3. But folks, like, this is the finals. You know, like this comes around once a year. Tom Brady retired twice already. We knew where he was going. It's the Hall of Fame in Foxborough, and then it's going to be the Hall of Fame in Canton. So it'll be a spectacular show. And there will be a lot of great people there, and I think whoever goes is going to have a great time. But I'm here for the finals.
So you're saying being in Dallas and away from the thing for you,
but it's still all good.
You know, Sarge is in on the action.
He's the master of ceremonies. I don't know if you heard that, but it's
good for Sarge.
Mike Sarge.
Can he sing? Can we get him up with Jay-Z?
I think that's the plan. He was in Nas's camp, but then time has healed all wounds.
I'm sure he's asked.
Yeah. I mean, he was
razzle dazzle.
He's referenced.
Where was Sarge on the Drake Kendrick spat?
Oh, he sat that one out after he was eviscerated on Ether. He sat that one out. He did not like that anymore.
Boom shakalaka.
That's right. Those were his bars on Ether. All right, very good. Listen, Andrew Callahan, thank you so much. The Boston Herald they obviously love you, and everyone loves you, and everyone should read the Boston Herald for the sports page and everything else. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, guys. Chat soon.
All right, there you go. Did he just say Kenny Chesney was going to be there? Sell your tickets now.
Sarge is in charge.
Well,
Sarge and Kenny Chesney?
That much we know.
Can you imagine?
From downtown.
What if Kenny Chesney and Jay-Z shared the stage? I can't imagine that could happen. Ooh. That'd be really something.
Chesney gets up there, and he's got the sleeves ripped off. He's showing the guns. He's wearing the cowboy hat, though. He lets you know what he's really all about.
He's doing the Kmart version of Buffett.
Slippery T Crew.
Well, we all do that. That just doesn't make it. That's not just you, Sarge. That's everybody.
I just was looking at. We were talking about where we grew up, real quick, and then we'll go to break. And I was looking at the guy who was friends with Jamie Latimer that's in jail for the rest of his life for murder.
Yeah.
One of the guys, he appealed the case, And one of the guys that that his defense attorney was saying was a compromised witness against him was a kid I was really good friends with growing up.
Oh.
Okay.
So I had one really good friend testify in a murder trial against, and the defense attorneys were saying, how can you let this guy testify? We keep arresting him. He's this piece of garbage. Like, why do you keep doing this? It's fascinating. I've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole during the show.
And think about what a piece of crap you must be, where they wouldn't call you as a character witness. It's like they wanted to call the guy who was, getting arrested every other minute. What about Fred Toucher? He could testify in his behalf. Oh no, he's even worse.
But it was apparently the kid that I was really good friends with testified in Jamie Latimer's trial against Jamie Latimer from prison. So there's.
It's a whole sitch.
It was just, I'm like, there's no way that's the kid. I'm like, there's no way.
What's that kid in prison for?
A big heroin guy, big criminal even when I was growing up. But he just lived in my subdivision. He was
But
really
he was a
good friend until like the wheels came off. The last time I hung out with him was Woodstock. When was the first?
94.
94 was the last time I saw him, and we were all at and I hadn't seen him in a long time, and we were all at someone's house. It was the summer of 94, and he went into a bathroom and came out he went and shot. He was fine, went and shot up, came out, and he was selling heroin to a bunch of people at that house. That was the last time I saw him. So 94. And then when Facebook first came out, he contacted me, and I went, hey, good to hear from you. And then he asked me for money immediately.
Oh, how much do you give him?
A lot.
No.
I was just like, he promised to me a lot of stuff.
Well, when he pays it back, maybe you guys can reconnect, rekindle the friendship.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very successful tattoo artist in the 85 places he's lived. He would get on Facebook, and then he would put something out there,
like palm trees and.
He would put something on Facebook, and then ultimately a bunch of people would start going, dude, what the F? You owe me all this money. And then he would disappear from Facebook again. Good guy. Don't do the heroin, kids. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Let's do it, guys. All right, so you can email us at Hardy at Hardy at 98.5 The Sports Hub, JON at 98.5 The Sports Hub, TOUCHER at 98.5 The Sports Hub. You can follow us on all the social medias at Toucher and Hardy, and you can follow me. I can't be on Twitter because I got in trouble for
Did they ban you?
self-sabotage. No.
I think
Were you banned by Twitter?
No. No, I didn't put anything that they
Do you
banned. I
want
banned
Elon-
myself from Twitter.
Can we lobby Elon Musk to hold a vote, like a Twitter poll, to see if you should be reinstated?
I call him the Moo because we're tight.
Oh, yeah. That's,
but he
that's
put me
cool.
on 10 seconds. He keeps begging me to go on.
Mm.
No, I can't be on there on the fact that I can't handle it. But this email said ingrate, so I'm immediately like, I'm not going to read it.
Mm.
I'm not going to read this on the air. It's going to be about me, but it's about Hardy, so here we go.
Good.
Fred, just wanted your feedback on this scenario. About 4 months ago, I sent Hardy 2 hats, one from Pebble Beach and one from Cypress Point. I figured I'd get a thank you back, but all I got was crickets, wondering if this is acceptable behavior in your world. Thanks.
I'm sure I emailed that guy. In fact, we display one of the hats here in the studio. You can see it on various platforms, either on NBC Sports Boston and probably on the YouTube channel, too.
Michael.
But I find it very hard to believe I did not send that guy a reply email.
I
What's his name?
actually do, too.
What's his name?
He didn't give his name. He just gave his email address.
Let me see the email address. I'm going to search it in my sent folder and see if I replied to this guy.
Okay, I will. I'll do that in a second. I told you I replied to this one. This is from Michael. He said, "Hey, gang, I'd found the itinerary for Fred's speaking engagement last week, and it looked like a different kind of pride than we had in Boston. Not a lot of melanin in between the ads for Newsmax, if you catch my drift. Any stories, Fred? And was the whole hotel upset you cut eye holes in the pillowcase?" Michael, did you listen to the show that morning I did from Hofstra University helping the kids at Hofstra?
Yeah, them all on the air.
Kids
the
of
last
all
hour.
races and religions, put them all on the air.
Mm-hmm.
There was a weird AM radio shouting talk show vibe. I told you guys there was a dude in a suit with a ponytail, which means one thing: angry libertarian. And they put him in a small studio to my side. He had no staff with him, and he was in a consistent act of yelling. And I kept saying to you guys, I'm positive this man's armed. There's no doubt. It's 1,000% he's got a concealed to carry license that he doesn't. He puts a fake name on. I think we've all worked with someone maybe that. I told this story a million times, but in Atlanta, I worked with a guy who did not give his real name. He said his name was Sebastian, and he didn't trust the government, and he would have he didn't use banks. So there was this whole situation with him. He always carried a gun. He pulled it out one time because there was a prank going on in the morning show. He didn't know it was a prank, so he pulled the gun out and ran into the studio. There's always, and he was like a ponytail libertarian guy. Yeah, white guy ponytail.
Yep. I think those people are generally happy, though. You know, the ones who feel like the government is after them and they feel the need to, walk around armed all the time.
They're ready for anything.
But they get all their aggression out, in their talk shows and podcasts, and otherwise they lead very healthy lives.
He had
happy and healthy.
He drank as much Diet Coke as I do, and he had fashioned a wood box with a padlock on it that he kept in the refrigerator.
So I found the email that this guy, the Pebble Beach guy,
let's
right?
get down to business. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So on Halloween of last year, I got an email. Is the guy's name Jay?
He didn't give his name, dude.
Okay. All right, dude. He sent me an email and said, "Big fan of yours. Love your insights. I've been a caddy at Pebble Beach for 13 years. Want to send you some Pebble merch so you can represent. Please send me a mailing address. Sincerely." I replied, "Thanks, Jay. That would be awesome!" ! Address below. He sent the merch. I don't know that I then sent a follow-up email saying that I had received it and thanking him again. Am I okay?
No.
Yeah, I'm not okay. I need to send him another email.
I would have said the thing when that guy sent me all those baseball cards. I sent him a lickety split. I sent him something.
So unsolicited, the guy said, "I want to send you 2 hats that I got for free," and I said, "Thank you. That's great." And then he sent him. And then I got to send another email.
Yes. Confirmation.
Let me check with our compliance department to see if I can accept this.
Right.
Then you send a follow-up once you get.
Neither one of you would have even replied to the first one, much less then gone in and composed
He
an
has
email.
He has your home address.
Is this a payola situation with the golf show?
I watch those videos, Fred. I have to answer the questions at the end of the videos, whether or not I was paying attention. Is this qualify? The guy that went to Aruba and got sick, and
is this? Oh yeah,
the trip he threw up and said.
That's
Thanks
right.
to-
You stayed conscious during that meeting.
I remember that.
I will tell you this: has the golf show been compromised? Because here I was thinking I was hearing something pure. Sunday mornings, every Sunday morning at 7 to 8. And it might be compromised and just a tool of this guy to get free merch.
Once
that he
built
doesn't even
on
say thanks
integrity. Now,
No, because if the logos are not displayed,
he covers his head.
All right,
and chest.
I always get a good response when I talk about this. The first half is just a way to get to the second half. I actually sent this email to myself, to my personal email address. It's from Tyler. It says, Freddie T. On Tuesday's show, Johnny Walgame described Edmonton and Calgary as northern Canada. You think his innate sense of direction, he'd know this. But Edmonton and Calgary are southern Canada. Okay. Please have John consult a map and learn about the Northwest Territories, the Yukon, etc. All right, here's the meat of it. So everyone listen up. Those of you who listen to us online, and there are many. Also, those backstage country ads are back, and I don't know what to do with them. They direct to a Beasley clickbait site, which is just called Beasley Sites. I've tried tricking my friend Josh into texting Queen or Superstar to 45911, but he caught on to my ruse, so I can't even have fun with them. Please get the Beasley sales team to come in the office and sell some ad space on the podcast. I think that they have to run the same ads on the podcast that they run for us because it counts for our ratings. But Backstage Country is some garbage shenanigans that is just annoying everyone.
I don't know what it is, other than people complain about it a lot. But ask me what Backstage Country is. I have no idea.
Well, it's apparently a Beasley operation because I feel free to make fun of it. But apparently these ads are just poison to the ears. They're like loud and obnoxious and just awful. And I don't know, Backstage Country, it sounds pornographic.
It sounds like a sub-channel in YouPorn. Like if you put in certain things in the search window, it's going to take you to 7 or 8 videos from the production house known as Backstage Country.
A lot of Brokeback Mountain, but done like Caligula.
Live video from West Virginia.
The little logo on the bottom right of the screen will say Backstage Country.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Seymour Butts, if you wondered what he's doing now. He's
There you
involved
go.
in that whole operation.
I have 2 emails here on the same subject, Fred. Number 1, RC. I'm impressed with Milliken's cousin's familiarity with the songs. That could possibly be older than his parents. So he's saying he's impressed that Milliken's cousin is taking all these older songs and doing parodies with them. Then Mitch said he's writing parodies of songs that came out 20 to 30 years before he was born. Someone is writing for him. Cousin Milliken is a fraud.
Interesting.
Senpai Kendra Middleton.
We still have one more from today that we haven't gotten to yet, but it is maybe the oldest one so far.
Oh boy,
And
that's saying something.
and he was back there scribbling. Once I gave him the idea for the subject matter, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like yesterday during the show, by the end of the show, he had lyrics written for all 3, including this one song in question that I don't know if you'd be able to identify by listening.
Older
just
than
to
Summer Breeze? That's like early 70s, isn't it? Summer
I
Breeze is like
I don't want to give anything away, but okay,
50 years old.
All right, maybe similar era.
Yeah, it's just he put words to a Bach concerto. Go ahead, John.
All right, we have an email addressed to me, but really for you. Hi, John. What's the scoop with the Reed's Ferry shed dude talking crap about your kin? Also, can you ask Fred about the dang birds and Reed's Ferry and who stole whose routine first?
All right. Well, there is a Reed's Ferry shed at the in the lawn of my the mother of my kid's house,
Mm-hmm.
and it's staying up and it's fantastic. It's where we keep the baseball equipment next to the cage.
Sure.
But my son has now said, though, in fairness to the Reed's Ferry Sheds people, that as I told you, not only is there a bird problem at my house, but now it's at his mom's house as well. He says, "The birds are following me everywhere." He's like, "I couldn't go to sleep till 4 in the morning last night because of these birds." And then again, he saw Willie McGinnis at a Starbucks. How do you know it was Willie McGinnis? Well, one of his friends. And he sent me a picture of him with Willie McGinnis. I said, "Oh, that's cool."
So he was not able to identify Willie McGinnis.
No, he's not
a
not a Patriots fan from the early 2000s.
Okay.
No, he
All
wouldn't
right,
know that.
all right.
But Willie McGinnis, I guess, stood out in on Needham Street in Newton at that time. He was a large man, and so he was in a limousine too, a chauffeured limousine. My son said, but who knows?
Ripping a page out of Freddie T's book.
Got a car service.
Yeah, it could have just been he was in the back seat of like a cab, but who knows? But my son then goes to me. I go, oh, he must have been in town for the Brady thing, and my son goes, yeah. And I go, I wonder why he was in Newton. He goes, I'm the drunk elephant. What do you think? He's in here for the Brady thing. And I go, no, I'm saying, why was he in Newton? Well, he's at Starbucks. My Lord.
How dumb are you?
Yeah, how dumb are you? You're an old man. You're going senile.
Number one, I just told you. Number two, Starbucks.
He was at a Starbucks. The Starbucks. He's a fan of Starbucks. So we went 30 miles to Newton to Needham Street.
Right.
To get to the Starbucks.
That's
Very
the good one.
interesting.
That's the good one.
That's the good one. Not the one in Center Street.
No.
Yes, Dan O'Brien.
In that email, the gentleman that's referencing the Reed's Ferry Sheds, there is a very recent commercial that runs on this station. And in the commercial, the voiceover gentleman references those dang birds.
Oh, Reed's Ferry Sheds.
That's probably what he is referencing. You gentlemen don't listen to the commercial. I do. Pay attention to them.
I know someone.
So there is, and Hardy, yes, there is a connection.
There's
so.
a connection here in the building. I'm gonna make an inquiry.
Could you investigate that? Yeah.
I will.
Oh,
Okay.
I know exactly
Yes.
the connection. We know the voiceover fella.
Mm.
Dang birds!
We know
that is referenced in a Reed's Ferry commercial.
Which came first? Did I steal it from him, or did he steal it from me?
Appears as though the commercial is recent.
Oh,
so absolutely.
Oh, Reed's Ferry. Thank you. You gave me. It's a good thing you gave me a shed, or you got another shed coming.
Did you get yours for free?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
I got a half off mine, but it is the shed to end all sheds. I got a porch on mine.
Now, though, now that you're swinging with the big boys,
porch on the shed.
Why do you need a porch on the shed?
I'll send you a picture of it, and you'll understand why.
Okay, because right now I don't understand why.
it's so he has two places to have. It's where the help can have their lemonade.
Okay.
He sits on the front porch of the house. They get to sit on the
porch of the shed.
If
Sure.
he has a little family. He's got two little people.
No.
A little couple that live in the back. They got a mini house with a mini porch.
He's so proud of it. But
No,
I got the little eyebrow raise. Porch on the shed.
It was requested by someone in my house. I'm not going to say who.
That would be because they would be offended.
No, but because the shed is also the menstruation hut. And there are at least a few months out of the year where you don't want to spend time inside.
Are there windows
for the entire duration of the cycle, and you want to be able to sit out on the porch? But there's nice stuff in there. There's like magazines and hard candies and things.
Hard candies? You got Werther's sitting out there?
Yeah, we ran power out to it. So
There's Nugget magazines.
but that's where they stay for a few days, and
So instead-
sometimes they sit on the porch.
Okay.
So you've turned the shed into a house.
Sure.
There's electricity and water.
No water.
That's illegal. A town of
Is it
Canton.
properly zoned?
It's
Has
not
windows.
properly zoned. You can actually get in trouble for that
Yes,
if you have a neighbor
Artie.
complain
Have a neighbor complain about what?
that you have a dwelling on your property with no electricity or water that's
If
not
you're
zoned
there,
to be
if
living.
you're there for less than 4 days a month, it's not considered a habitat.
All right, we'll have to talk to the people of Canton when they're not too busy saying the C word. My stars.
I don't think he was a Canton guy.
And a little respect for Crohn's disease, please. Very quickly, David. David, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I went to high school with a close friend. He was on the very first episode of Cops.
Ooh.
He got caught by the guy who did all those voiceovers for the car chases.
Oh, really?
His task force. Yep.
What was he arrested
got caught.
for?
So he was trying to smuggle coke out of Florida, He got caught with $110,000, a kilo of coke, and a triple beam scale that I was at school the day he stole that from high school class, was the talk of the school.
Isn't that something? And how obvious a crime could it be? Like, what do you want this scale for? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. So he was trying to get through a bus station, so he thought he wasn't going to get caught. He had his girlfriend there, who the high school girls nicknamed Eek Eek, because she kind of looked like a female Curious George. You can see that episode on YouTube. It was the 40-minute premiere. And, this woman walks up to him, puts his hand on his shoulders, and goes, "If you do something stupid, you're going to die."
Wow.
And he did about 5 years. He called me sometime, talked about revenge. I was like, "Have a great life, kid." And he passed away like 10 years ago.
Well, that's a shame. Well,
What was
thank
the-
you,
what was the
David.
girlfriend's nicknames again?
Eek. All right. There you go. Very good. If he's referring to this because I told you of my friend Jamie Latimer, who I knew was in jail for life, no parole for murder, but then I just discovered that a really good friend of mine testified against him in his murder trial, but there was a problem because they had to bus him in from jail, where he was in jail. And that kid was on a show called Kids in Crisis, trying desperately to get into some like bakery in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Wow. But Hardy said, I told Hardy the kid's name. I don't feel comfortable saying it on the air for some reason because I don't want him killing me.
And I said, "Oh, you've mentioned him before, but not to this extent."
And then I told him the many tales from his home.
Yeah.
He was the kid that had the crossbow arrow in the wall.
Okay.
He was the kid whose dad pulled the gun on me.
Right.
Yeah, he was that kid. That was a house of horrors. And I told him a bunch of other stuff that happened there that I can't say. Yeah, that just happened this morning in real time. I found out that this kid, that Jamie Latimer, his defense had an objection to the trial, like they wanted to appeal it, largely based on the testimony of this good friend of mine who they said, you can't take a word he says seriously. He's been arrested several times. In the words of the transcript, he will go to jail again. And they're like, in fact, he had to testify. We had to get him from jail to testify. So
I don't know if you can make that leap. Oh, yeah, we absolutely can.
Oh, yeah, they were right.
Yeah.
100% right. I'm not confident he's not in jail. Now, I'm not confident the kid's alive.
No.
I hope he is. I hope he got it figured out, but I don't think so.
Why don't you get in touch? Why don't you reach out?
Yeah, good. Especially now that my kids are older. Yeah,
Yeah, good.
Get him around them. That'd be really good. He's one of those things that's just like, no.
Well, old enough. Your kids are old enough to have some real fun with.
Yeah. Like I don't want him. Certainly not around my daughter. I can tell you that.
No,
much.
but
My son can at least kick his ass.
old enough to like. Why don't you guys go out for a couple hours?
Yeah, like he's
get into some trouble.
Yeah, like he's the kind of guy that would like trick like a kid into like getting involved in something like a felony, and that you'd have to dig yourself out of. Like 2 hours with that guy, there's like some scam that a dumb kid could be a part of that he doesn't even know he's doing anything wrong. That's the kind of guy we're talking about. All right, we'll be back in just a moment here at the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics will visit Dallas tonight for Game 3 of the NBA Finals, leading the best of 7 2 games to none. We'll have the pregame at 7:30, and then the tip-off with Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell at 8:30 here on the BetMGM 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Kristaps Porzingis has been diagnosed with a torn medial retinaculum in his left foot, and that's allowed the dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon. Yesterday, the team announced Porzingis is day-to-day, and then late yesterday listed him officially as questionable. Patriots will wrap up mandatory minicamp this morning in Foxborough, and then they'll hold the big event tonight at Gillette Stadium as Tom Brady will be officially inducted into the team's Hall of Fame. And the Red Sox lost to Philadelphia at Fenway Park last night, 4-1. Kyle Schwarber homered twice for the winners. Nick Pivetta starts tonight against the Phillies as this 3-game series continues. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the New England Revolution. See the Revolution take on Vancouver this Saturday with the Revolution Family 4-pack. That's 4 tickets, saving up to 40% off individual tickets and $60 in added value with 4 food and beverage coupons. Get your 4-pack today at revolutionsoccer.net. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 10 o'clock.
the app. You've got Spirited Sports Talk.
Toucher and Hardy. Very exciting. I'm talking to Adolfo Gonzalez right now. I'm learning so much about Venmo and Zelle. It's all very exciting for me. I don't have an account for either. So I just, you know what, I work in cold hard cash. That's what I just handed Cardi. Cold hard dinero.
I like cash. I almost always have cash on me, and that always used to be my preferred MO. There's some places don't want cash anymore. I used to, cash always accepted. You always did. Not anymore.
Oh, the only place I use cash is my kids. Because they'll go like put it on my Apple Pay or something, and I'm wiser, or give me a credit card. I'm wiser than that. Mm-hmm. You give them a credit card, that's $40. You give them $20, that's $20.
Yeah.
And they don't care either way. They're just $20. You go, here you go. All right. Toucher and Hardy is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. The Stack is brought to you by Best Ford in Nashua. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to the Best Ford in Nashua. Head to thebestfordnh.com.
Now, I need to address this with you specifically, Fred, because Dan O'Brien told me you were talking about this earlier, and I'm surprised at your reaction. Pollard Middle School in Needham is graduating 23 sets of twins. 23 sets of twins graduating, I guess it's their 8th grade class.
8th grade.
Okay. 454 people in the 8th grade. Mm-hmm. That means 46 of their class are twins. And what did you say to Dan O'Brien?
I'm not surprised at all. It's a wealthy area. People who are wealthy generally wait longer to have kids. That means a lot of times in vitro. When you have in vitro, that means there's a lot of twins. And there you go. I would imagine statistically the amount of twins being born is way, 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 way higher than it used to be. I have a girl I dated in college, lives over there in Germany. I'm not making it up. She just had a kid at 48. I had a girl I went to high school with, Courtney, that was in the movie The Descendants. What was the Descendants? What was the
George
Clooney movie?
The Hawaii movie.
Yeah, the Hawaii movie.
Descendant.
She played a clerk at Metro Airport. She played a flight lady at Metro Airport. She had a kid at 49. Kaboom. Ooh. So what I'm saying is, nowadays, with the in vitro, and God bless it all, everyone who wants to have a kid, I'm very pleased that you can. And with the in vitro, these high-priced areas, it does not surprise me.
All right, so it is a remarkable increase, though. 3% of all births are twins. Mm-hmm. This is like 10% of that class.
Yeah,
so that's a lot.
But 3% of the general population, that's not Needham. I would bet among higher income families that it's even higher. Yes.
Yes, Dan.
So you two are having this conversation, obviously, outside of somebody else in the room. The one person that wasn't surprised by this at all is John. He has twins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
no,
well,
John, you didn't find this to be some sort of a phenomena?
It is certainly some sort of a phenomena, but I think Fred is on the right track.
In terms of a town like that, a small town like Needham would have 23 sets of twins in the same grade.
I will say this, according to The Atlantic, the older the mother, the more likely she is to have fraternal twins.
Right, because of
IVF.
Yeah, because of IVF. So good.
Okay.
God bless everyone.
For whatever reason. But yes, I think you could also make the case that maybe parents tend to be a little bit older in towns like Needham than maybe other places.
That's what I just said.
Okay, yeah, it's all...
You're just repeating what I said.
Did anybody come across that many set of twins in your life?
No, but I just told you why it's happening.
Okay, I understand.
Well,
I'm right. Can anyone just take it? It's like you're all so shocked I'm right that you can't even accept it.
Did I not admit you were right about basketball earlier in this show?
You're not the one fighting me. Everyone else is
did
fighting
I not
me.
explain to you yesterday the reason why people are reluctant to say you're right is because you are such a repellent person.
He did say that.
Like you get all whiny and crabby. And yeah. Like, well, now I'm going to argue just for sport because I don't like you.
This was an odd phenomenon of you two just repeating what I said back to me.
I added to it with an actual fact from the Atlantic. And
But you were repeating.
Forgive me for repeating something on the radio because Lord knows, Fred, you only say something on the radio once. You never say it more than once, even in a 2-minute span to help drive home a point. Yes, I repeated what you said. I was fully aware of what I was doing, but I was helping to nuance the conversation
Staring
and
me
add
dead
to
in the
it.
eye.
Yes.
Very uncomfortable.
Yes. Like we're hanging on your every word. I said it once. Oh, God, you're insufferable. Hey, here's another story. Do you think Joey Chestnut is doing the right thing?
Oh, my God, dude.
Jesus.
Oh, they had a... I was listening to ESPN radio yesterday, and they
what is he
had some
thinking?
guy from the Nathan's thing on because of gambling. I don't care. I don't...
Well, I will tell you
you know what he's doing? You know what he's
Yes,
doing.
he's got vegan hot dogs. He was
Yes,
sponsoring them, and
yes.
if you do the Nathan's thing, they say you can't sponsor any other hot dog.
Well, you know what? This also opens up the door for the guy who called us last year, Jeffrey Esper,
Yeah,
who
great.
could probably win this thing now.
Well, or maybe Esoteric
Local guy,
could just
fan
do
of the
it.
show.
Because Esoteric and Joey Chestnut are fraternal twins.
And what are the odds of that?
Very high in my areas. They tend to have kids older.
You should get in, Walt. Bunch of tube steaks.
What the hell's wrong with you?
He's all jazzed up. It's Brady night.
Jesus Christ.
He's all jazzed up. It's Brady night.
That's right. So
Joey-
you and Sarge are going to share the stage tonight, right?
I think Sarge is out on he's out on the plaza.
Yeah. He's not talking to anyone. He's talking to the fans.
What are your duties for this evening? What do you have to do?
Me, just little red carpet. I was there yesterday, and my God, the setup. It's like a concert. The whole floor is filled with seats.
Actually, Stacey James tweeted out a photo. There are like
You did?
actual round tables on the floor of the Gillette.
They have a
And
couple
then-
different sections down low there. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Sounds like a great night.
Friends and family will be in one.
The Kenny Chesney, the Jay-Z, the Willie McGinnis, as we found.
But it's still all good.
It's very exciting. So enjoy yourselves. Enjoy yourself, Scott.
We'll be all right. See a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys coming that didn't play with him.
That didn't play with him?
I played with. They
Oh, really?
Didn't even play with Tom. Yeah.
So what the hell are they doing?
Are you guys going
What is
out?
that?
Is there anything like, you don't have to say what it is, but is there like an after party situation happening? Yeah. And then an after party? Yeah, there's always going to be in bad shape.
Yeah.
No.
And you should be in bad shape tomorrow. Enjoy yourself tonight.
No, it's Wednesday night.
Oh,
I'll be peeking in.
oh,
I'll be
please.
peeking
Enjoy
in.
yourself.
Got a job to do, Fred.
It's once in a
Grinder.
lifetime thing.
We're
This is a
grinder,
once in a
Fred.
lifetime thing. All right, very good. That'll do it for us. Everyone enjoy the game tonight. I believe pregame starts at 7:30.
Yep.
Enjoy Zolak and Bertrand. That'll do it for us. Bye.